සඳරැස් කිරණ යට බුදුරැස් විහිදුවන දිවමන් බුදුන් නෙත්මානී මවාලන භවදුක් තිමිර පටනි තැතින් දවාලන රන්වැලි සෑය නමදිමිදාන නමාගෙන ගාමිනියාභය නිරේඳුන් නිදි කරන ලද පරසතු මාලින් දේවියන් සිදු කරන පුද තුන් සිත නිවන නික අකුසල් රැහැන් බිඳ රන්වැලි සෑය නමදිමියත් මුදුන් බැඳ නාලොවනාග රාජවරුමානෙලින් නාමෙනවියන් නමදින බැති හැඟුම් මුදා මුළු සක්වලට සෙත සලසන කිරණ විදා රන්වැලි සෑය නමදින් නෙමි බැතින් සදා සිව්බුදුවරුන් වැඩි බිම පැංජබෙනා හැටි දුටු දුටු දානං නමදින මා පොළොවේ වැටි නමදින අභය වැවදිය රැලි ඉවුරේ ගැටි රන්වැලි සෑය වැන්දොත් දෙලො වටම වටි
All blessings to all of you. May you all get all the strength and willpower, strength from young time onwards. These opportunities I also didn't have when I was so young. I was also in a similar country like this, Southern Africa, Lesotho. So when I was there, well, you all have this opportunity, it's not only me, I think many monks come here. And but some of you look quite upset, worried, concerned. So, but I hope this meeting will give you strength and willpowers and a way of life that you will do your best in this world. That and so I I was told that that they have invited especially the children. Anyway, and that's okay. I think sometimes maybe children might be able to understand some things better, and because now I have one target. In fact, my whole mission is to bring about enlightenment, which I have been experiencing or which I have been practicing. I can't say could be glimpsing it. Okay, I can't be boasting that I'm experiencing it. But anyway, I'm not doubt about it. I have no doubt about that, definitely. So at your age, there are so many young ones here. Problem is, at your age, I was not that calm, or I was too naughty. So I don't know how you all are here. Until age of 14, I was not normal naughty, extremely naughty. My mother used to tell I'm like a yakshapatiya, She didn't expect that she would have thought maybe I had some kindness sometimes. So only at the age of 14, when I left to Lesotho, Lesotho is southern Africa, it's like a kingdom, landlocked kingdom. There it was not easy because not like Sri Lanka. School also, it was very strict in Sri Lanka, but in southern Africa, Lesotho, it was more like prim and proper, all this international school. I felt quite conscious of myself that I can't, and also I was like the minority, you have all the white kids and it was mixed from all over. So I think it's good sometimes because when you're a minority and, you grow, you see, you have such pressure, just have to, like a survival instinct works in you. So I think that kicks in, and it brought my good part in me, actually. But if I was in Sri Lanka, I would have been I would not open up my potential. But that time too, even your age, very small as you are, some of you, after a long time, I have been forced to speak in Sinhalese for many years. I almost lost my ability to speak in English when I came to Sri Lanka, age of like 18, first trip, and after that 21, 23. But then I was so interested in the teachings, the Dhamma. I didn't want to go any other country. I wanted to be in Sri Lanka because I knew, the real teachings are there and the environment is there to really do well. So so now I'm getting opportunity. I was in Adelaide. In Adelaide, I had this English program, especially with some of the Westerners here. Like Westerners means Australians, local people. Some of them are quite, say, they are thinking and analyzing. They don't come just ordinary. I felt very comfortable, tell you honestly. After a long time, my mind was like becoming very, it was working very freely. So anyway, I will share some things. I think I wish somebody told me when I was at your age, especially from the age of 14. I think something's important I would like to share, Please pardon me, sometimes my English, after a long time I'm speaking again. Okay. So, but anyway, I hope you all will get some strength. I can feel some people, some are going through some difficulties, not easy. And hope end of the program, just bear with me 1.5 hours, okay? Much difficult it may be. After that, we'll see. Okay. So I don't know from where to start. I could, when I was very young too, I was having a very big curiosity to find something complete. Even I think some of you are like maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, like that. Even that age, because of the environment, my father had that engineering environment there. all this designing and all that. So I want to create a vehicle that runs with water because I thought water is easily available, and that if I make such an engine, that this is how it started. And my father was so kind and gracious. He didn't. I didn't know much about anything about physics or anything, but he encouraged me. I used to draw in this drawing board, designing boards, just that feeling of research and kind of. So anyway, he used to encourage me with these two-stroke engines and this, and turbocharger like that. So after that, later on, there was an exhibition, I think aluminium something, a Japanese exhibition. There I was trying to sort of transfer the energy from one, use the spring of a clock, transferring that into another spring. I had no idea of friction or anything, but anyway, my drawing looked quite, so I call this the non-stop machine. So I had an idea that there could be so I was searching for something non-stop. So with those small information I had, I think some of you, it might get interesting, because then later when we went to Southern Africa, there was one teacher, he was really giving me a lot of things, like puzzles and all that. I really like to do that. But school studies was terrible for me, because one thing, you have to memorize, and there's no creativity or intuitively, especially creativity. There's none of that. You have to. So some things are there, like in physics, or sometimes some teachers they used to make it interesting. But when it comes to, like, when you have to memorize, I really felt terrible. Especially biology, chemistry, history, all these things, and so language, French was terrible for me. 5 years I studied, in pass. And I think pass means we were the first batch to do IGCSE. The IGCSE, you all must be doing that, International General Certificate of Secondary Education, Cambridge Syndicate. All right. So that one, we were the first batch. And there you don't fail, right? That exam. Do you know that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It goes like that. And you don't fail. You can take the second paper you can take, you don't fail. And the other one, you don't get a mark. So you fail, that means. ABC something, I can't remember. So I don't know how they gave me for French a mark. I didn't know, because they don't fail anyone, I guess, to show that. So there in that country, I was too dreamy, I went on. Actually, it was something similar to this environment. And one thing I fear, if I'm going to be reborn, can you guess? Anyone? If I'm reborn again, I fear something. I fear to go to school again, this kind of school. I hope by that time the world will evolve and they have some kind of wisdom school or something. So anyway, this education system, came from, actually I would say from, I think after the Industrial Revolution, where religion went aside, and then, people were, it was a very different thing, different type of people were needed for that kind of work and everything. So now after the colonization, all that, we also got that. So little bit religion and more of this, kind of tools for us to live actually, but nothing about life, nothing about, our, why we feel pain, why we feel happiness, why we, what's life, nothing research on that. So anyway, I step aside from all this system. And when I was 16, that was during the IGCSE, I was reading my mother's books, all these books about, she had a lot of religious books, I started reading about, there was some mixture of books. She had Buddhist books as well as some small books where the wheel publication, those days, we didn't have too many. So there was one story about King of Gods. King of God is Sakka. I don't know whether you know the name. He happened to it talks about the plane, that existence, like 1,000 years on earth is one day there, such weeks, such months, it's calculated like that. So that interested me. And there's another thing in physics that interested me that time, theory of relativity. Have you heard of theory of relativity? Any of you? It was in a cartoon form in a book, you know. So it was interesting. That book really changed my way of thinking. It was a book where, you know, it shows that theory of relativity states that near the speed of light, it was Einstein who brought out these things. Near the speed of light, the time gets dilated. It can be stretched. So that was fascinating for me. So they show twins, two twins. Two twins you can't have, you know, twins, right? Okay, like two couples. So twins, you know, they one was kept, one was on Earth, and one was put into a rocket and sent at the near the speed of light for say 1 year. That's how that cartoon is explaining. So 1 year on Earth's time, this rocket also goes near the speed of light, okay, and it comes back. This baby, how old is 1 year, right? They say that the effect of relativity is such that this baby will be like 2 months. Okay, so this was really proven, I think, in Geneva. They had particle accelerators where they, I think, meson particle, if I can remember, 1/4 of the speed of light, they managed to accelerate it, and it had a very small lifespan, you know. They were able to measure that it lived longer. This was very interesting. Do you think that when Einstein found these things, then this law started operating in this world? What do you think? Do you think when he now, you know, mathematically formulated, then it started working in this world, or it was already there and he found it? It was already there, right? So when I went through this, and when I saw in the book, you know, my mother's book, one of these books regarding the nature of, it's called Thavatimsa, the name of that plane of existence, the God's plane. I saw that this makes sense. It's not a fairy tale of all these things, and I neglected my studies, you know, like, and it was like, I have come like the whole 1-2 years I have spent, you know, on all these things. And sometimes my father comes searching for me the library. We were in an agriculture university, so the library I used to use it. So once I remember my father is coming, I was so much absorbed in it with another friend. I'm explaining to him all this. So it's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. The library door is also closed, and we are outside. It's winter time during, you know, like same weather here, southern, you know, hemisphere. So I am there, and my father is coming, you know, and he sees us, and then he says, "Son, you come, you know what? You're so late. We are worried," and so on. So I used to be so dreamy, you know, thinking about it. But this was a turning point. So what happened? Now the exams were near, and it was the English language and English literature exam those days. Then I used to, you know, what can I do? Some miracle had to happen. I had not studied anything. So what did I do? I thought the King of Gods is very powerful. Like he's in that plane. I know that he should be. We have heard that he's powerful, you know, in other stories. So what did I do? Like midnight, I had the English language paper, English literature paper. I don't think the parents will like if I tell this. Okay, don't be like me, you know. Work hard, okay? Otherwise, it will going to affect your Dhamma also. Now for me also, you know, I will tell you another story when I remember about this. So what happened? I kept those syllabus as well as the old past papers, and through the relativity, I built up my faith that this plane do exist. When I felt there's no doubt in my mind, because relativity is true, and you know, like you assume, I suddenly felt I don't have any doubt this plane exists, and I felt I'm connected mentally. Actually, gods or those realms are a mental state. According to Buddha, it is the whole universe is in our body with our consciousness. Okay, I'm touching a deep subject, can't help it, I will come to that. I will touch something interesting for the kids also. What to do? You all put me in this situation. I had told who are really want to attend Nibbana, I'm told them to come and meet me because this is how my mission is going on. I have been doing it, and our teacher, and then now I have come to share this. So, so it is in our consciousness, you know. That's why I said, though we can hide from human beings, we can't hide from the gods, devas. Why? Because they are within us. Before we think, even they will know that we are going to think something. Okay, this is another experience for me to tell, a lot of experience about that. When you know like that, you'll be very careful what you're thinking. So anyway, here, what I did was, when I felt I'm connected, I approximated, the English language essay title, English literature essay title. Okay. So I had a couple of titles, and then I sort of don't do that, okay? You better study well. So what happened after that? I went to the actually next day. It was a holiday, and the other day after that was the day the exam. We had done many exams, but I want to do this for this exam at that time. So I told my father to go to my tutor and write 2 essays under these headings. So my father, of course, rushed, and my tutor was wondering whether I have not studied everything. Why I'm focusing on this? Do you understand my accent? Not y'all, the kids, they're used to the Australian accent. What? How do you pronounce it? Australia, right? I don't know. Anyway, I hope y'all are used to my, there is more to the British side, where we were taught, so it doesn't matter. British accents sound more educated, right? Sorry, I'm not going to insult this is what I know in the society. They have this idea. Too much dragging, it's like this guy's coming from a village or somewhere. We have in Sri Lanka, like in southern of Sri Lanka, Matara Makkai Kiwe. Ape Achila Hema, they had this Sinhalese, my grandma and all that, they are from Matara. So Makkai Kiwe, again, I don't know who are from Matara. Anyway, now I'll. So what happened in the midnight? I had these 2 test papers, and when I felt I'm really focused, I approximated the English language, English literature essay titles, and then my father went and got 2 essays written. They don't know what I did in the night. Okay, I won't tell. They know maybe I'm keeping awake all night. Then my teacher wrote 2 essays. He also wondered why I didn't why I'm focusing on 2 like this. There could be so many other possibilities. So I went to the exam. When I went, we were all there, and then when I took the paper, these 2 headings are there. This gave me, I didn't care about exams, I am so thirsty of getting a picture of this universe, this world, tell you honestly. So I felt so happy. And I felt like I can stay under a tree, like the universe is on my palm, this feeling I had. And this is how my initial meditation, I would say. Then after that, based on this, it was like 60, I was like 16. 17, 18, I had another experience, which made me this, became a monk. Mentally, first I became a monk. Then I had this idea. Then I want to go Princeton just before that, because Einstein was there, and I want to study astrophysics. Okay. Because I thought this is the way to pursue further after these experiences. Maybe I could study more relativity theory and so on. So what happened, by the time I was waiting for the admission, the results and all that, I used to play cricket. One thing, if I gave up to become a monk, it's cricket. It's true. Okay, I had no girlfriend to give up, but I had cricket to give up. Really, I was so attached to cricket. I used to play for clubs and all that. And then what happened, I used to go for walks those days. Sorry, don't misunderstand me, maybe this get recorded and this sent to the YouTube, I guess. Yeah. Sometimes people with their ego, they think that I have the same ego, that my story. Thing is, my way of discoursing is based on like a storytelling with my own experience, so that nobody can say they can't do it, which I have done. So that's why I'm a little bit difficult for me to tell the younger ones, because that time I thought I was cursing my parents if they brought me to a program like this, because, I used to just hang around. I remember they went for some programs, especially my parents, they are Gatha. My mother, my father, she had this evening time prayer, and I had to be like your age, I had to be there. So when I'm like very small, and then it was so long, the Set Kavi and all that, the Set Kavi, the scene. So, but those things did make an impression. Though we don't know, those things must be done at home. So anyway, if I stop this train, I will get a blackout. Okay, so I try to tell you. These people know when I will not be talking if I'm alone. I'll be in the meditation. Now I have to come to another mode to give you all this. In the end, I will give you all something before we go. Okay. So this after that, while I used to go for walks like 17, 18, I had some feeling some change will happen at the age of 18. Actually, tell you honestly, I had this side feeling but I never knew that it's going to be in the spiritual way, this way. So 17, like 18, at the age of 18, that time, suddenly I used to have the habit of going for walks. So it was very nice, like very lonely, like here in this part of the world. And there's a Caledon River and beautiful nature. And I used to come back home. This habit was there. So when one day I was going on this one walk, suddenly I had this experience. I can't say how it is. Like I was thinking, like, what is the cause for any phenomena to happen? This is how I verbalize it. Okay. Then in sudden, like a flash, it's like, what are the causes for any phenomena to happen? It's like suddenly like like everything was like disappearing. So everything was like, what it came to me in words, anything that begins in time definitely ends. So now I know it's called anitya sanya, perception of impermanence in the Buddha's teaching. So in that experience, I suddenly came to my mind, for this understanding, there's no beginning, therefore there's no end. I normally don't tell this like immediately to the program like that, but this was, I remember when if I go back, and then I saw monk in my mind's eye. And it told me that I should become like that. These monks are people who try to get this perception. They must live in solitary places like this, silent places. Until then, I didn't know why there are these, like forest monasteries and all. And it came to my mind, I should be in such a place where I was there that time, very silent. And I should make this perception happen again and again. This how, and this body is also going to go, all these mountains are going to just disappear. And it's like a last body just to cover the body, the robes are there. This is how I saw the monk there. And he's just getting absorbed into that experience. I don't know how much it will make sense, but okay, I'll tell you what really happened. Then that evening I told my father I want to be a monk. And he was really, I don't say like that. So he was quite worried and internally upset because he had other plans for me. And so I became changed also as a person. Like I became so calm, peaceful, and it worried more further my parents, my father, not my mother. My mother like intuitively suddenly felt like this is our hamdru or something like that. It's very funny. Normally mothers want to get married and all that, but she was different. She was my first disciple, I would say. So while I was there, she used to come and ask about the teachings. So then it went on. Then my father wanted me to finish at least the university degree. So initially, I didn't know the importance of my parents. I thought like this is like it's kind of an obstacle. So after that, I started, naturally meditating and was in a meditation state. So it's a long story. I just want to talk about, I'm going to stop there. All right. So I'm going to talk about the cell phones and things like this. Okay. Because I've been talking in general to even adults also. It will be applicable because my purpose is how to experience these teachings, not in the book only. People know. I have been doing retreats now in Adelaide, and then I'm after here. But I was really hoping I could do a retreat. Now I'm not into too much the programs. I want to go give deep to the people. The same experience I had then and later on, which inspired me, where I felt the Buddha is like a live thing. I want to give this because I don't think this is the greatest gift I could give. So now I started this retreats. So same time when I was into this Dhamma, when I went to Sri Lanka after that, okay? Then my grandma knew I was into Dhamma and all that, and she introduced me to a German monk. Okay, this German monk was to come on alms round to my grandma's place, and later I met him. I didn't. She took me to the temple also, but I was, like that time I thought I knew everything. Also, it's another problem because I had my own ideas, like with this impermanence and all that physics, and so I thought I knew everything. So he looked so simple, radiant, pure, but and I respected him when he came for alms round, like once a month. When we met in the room also, I didn't, I was maybe shy also to ask any questions, but I really met him on the road. One day I was going to, I had a pass to worship the tooth relic. And I want to share it with a friend, and I was in a motorbike. And then while I was going in a faraway area in from Colombo City, I suddenly saw like a giant one monk, like on hot sun, going bare feet, and suddenly like gave me shock or inspiration, and I realized, oh, that's the German monk. So I went and offered him, like, can I buy you a smack? I don't. Do you have smack here? Smack chocolate I used to like those days. So I asked him, do you like a smack? Then he said, what we expect, and this is not what we expect. He told me like this: we expect that you also follow this path. I have not talked to him about my spiritual intentions or anything. So anyway, I went and brought a smack anyway. So he was on the way, and he took that smack as well as his other food that time. It was near 12 o'clock. So when I sat down, then I explained to him all my experience. He listened very carefully, and he just told one word, which made me like an ant. Really, I was so thirsty for knowledge, so I thought I must follow him. And this is how my mentor, spiritual mentor, how we met, and really want to follow him. It changed me a lot. Okay. So before I start, any specific topic you like me to discuss? Anything that might, I might start on that. The ones who are like 14 or... I have some set things I want to explain. Okay, the secret of rebirth and how actually rebirth will stop. And I want to know, do you really believe in rebirth and karma? Because I don't think you should blindly believe. I'm not a person who come like in an orthodox fashion, to the teachings. Actually, I didn't think that there were answers in Buddhism initially. I thought physics had answers, but so I'm coming in a fresh approach to this. Actually, I mixed up with even in India some saints who can see the mind and what happens. Maybe I'll explain last year what happened with them. Buddha Vachana Pota, does everybody have the word of the Buddha also? It's okay. So anyone want to ask something now, or you're too shy initially? I will come to the Buddha Vachana at the end. I got to know in Andalay, when they have read this for the retreat as an initial preparation, she made a remark that it's like the 8th grade knowledge. It's true. Buddha's original words are like, it's a quite a basic thing. Even my aunt used to tell 4 noble truths are found, known by everybody. But knowing and realizing is 2 different things. Buddha's time, these words made, it opened up visions. Vision means like an intuition, So how to get this intuition today is like a, zero knowledge. People are like repeating like parrots, like they don't have that intuitive faculty, because one main thing that affects the intuitive faculty, it's our reptilian brain. Okay, do you know we have this reptilian brain where we, react for like food and even other things, like attraction to the opposite sex and all that. So they're all with the reptilian brain very much. So when we have these things, it actually damages or covers this other. And today with the phone, I will talk about it, the pineal gland and the serotonin in the pineal gland. Okay, it might not be very, you might be comfortable also because, but anyway, I'll touch that. So what my concern is, you get education, okay, for life, for living, all right? But how you're going to face, the stress of exams, how you're going to be strong, not get depressed, and not being, attacked by negative energies. How you're going to win, how you're going to develop your character, how you're going to be a strong person. Okay, if I didn't have anything, at least my teachers used to notice me that I, I had a strong personality. One reason was in those schools, they had this discourse and all that. And I say that they, every Friday, right? Not every day. So we had to ask permission from, we had to buy the ticket. Actually, I would have been the first person to go there, because I would have been like to go to but knowing what was happening in those discourse, some kind of shyness to ask my parents the money, because they will wonder, what is he up to? Maybe they must be also knowing what's going on. So I didn't ask them. So that way I was saved, I would say. Because all these students, I don't know how they do this, they do all the bad things. And they do drinking also, like 14, 15, all right. Don't try it early. And doing all those things, they also study well. It's a funny thing, I know some of the Danish, my friends, they can't understand during the class. And they ask Shanaka, what is this? And I also explain to them in mathematics or something. Next day they come and they talk with the other friends how they, try to give more beer to the other one and so on. And those age, and they play football also. So anyway, I did play football, not football, I was not good. I was good as a young boy, but later I had accident and I have lost my confidence. But other sports I used to do also. But definitely I didn't go for these parties and, discos and all that because of this. And it saved me. And I know about sleepovers. We know about, they have these sleepovers, that's something also you have to be really careful. I will start with one story. In fact, one of my known people, devotee, they are very poor, in fact. But my devotee's son, he want to be like hi-fi, in Sri Lanka. So they can't afford even. So the daughter was sent to the international school, the British school. And I was very happy, because they are like very poor and very down, they are like, but then she was so polished. She had good English and she should sometimes come and talk to me too. So then one day, so I thought it's good. I know the international schools are okay, but then there's suddenly the darker side of it also. Because in the Western culture, the Western, regarding, some of the things is not taught at all. You see, because I see this education system is like demonic, asuric, it coming from Virochana, that period where they want to master the material world too much. So that there's a lot of intelligence and all that. So gadgets are made even for small things, for everything. Only thing is still, they're like fork and spoon and everything. In the toilet you find gadgets, they will be pretty more gadgets. I hope they make a gadget that, where you don't get old, you don't die. So that's the main thing that's happening. So anyway, this girl was sent to this school. And suddenly something, I know she's a very special girl. Actually, she's a person who I know will go one day on a very special path. But though we have this kind of potential, we also have times of, dark periods in our life. Okay. So I knew it was such a period. And then suddenly she got contacted with some bad company. And this was like a sleepover. And this 2 years, like, she was really different. She became so changed. So the parents also were confused. And one day she came to meet me. The parents want her to meet me. And while she was coming, the parents' parent, the mother was my devotee. So when she passed by to meet me, she asked the daughter, "Did you take a bath?" I was wondering why she asked that. And she said, "Yes, Amma, yes." And then she came and talked to me. You know what is happening? She told me everything actually. The last 2 years, she has been addicted to the phone. And with the phone, I don't know how to tell this. She has been seeing things that she should not be seeing. Okay? You can guess what it is. So recently, in the recent times, around her, there has been a smell, like a feces, smell of poo. Smell of poo. Poo, I know, I hope you all know. Okay. So, and she doesn't know the reason. I know the reason. So that's why they have been asking, do you take a bath or whatever? Because why this smell is coming out? What happens? You generate such vibration, that vibrations are of a lower nature. Now I found even through cartoons it's happening. I'm sorry, I'm coming to my weeping period. So just some knowledge is better to be awake, aware. So even the cartoons, through cartoons also, and so many other ways, this is coming. So when these levels of vibration, you are activating, same vibration dimensions are there, beings are there. They enter. We can't see that. So then it comes in the form of smell. So full of that smell, we call it in Sri Lanka, in the Dhamma teaching we have, when we do good things also, when we have higher vibrations, we send a smell also, Buddha says. It is a perfume, smell of, good perfume. It goes up till Brahmaloka, so far, Buddha says. So when you generate negative vibration, also something should happen. So I have experienced this with these people. Not only with this, I have experience with other people, I can't tell here. Okay. So I am like researching it. So that much, so this is very interesting. This just to give you an idea. Okay. And you know about Mark Zuckerberg? Mark Zuckerberg, am I correct, his name? He's facing so many court cases, right? But he's so rich and, he can go through, you can come out of that. Because why so many parents are complaining about suicide? We heard about the suicide cases, young children, and they're asking, did you knowingly do that? Allow those apps or whatever? I don't know. So that's very important, I think. And those countries, in America, he's been scrutinized and all that. So I don't know. This practically for the young ones, I think should be parents are most important, very important. Should at least at age of 18, they might have to do their studies with that. I know some parents I got to know, they have really tried to avoid. It's great, they have really known about it. And that avoiding is also great, I think. But now they might be in universities and all that. Doesn't matter. Now they have to make a choice. They have to be aware of these things. And they have to make that willpower. Okay, now they're like 19 or 20. That's now they have to do it on their own. I hope after this more explanation I do, so they can limit that for their work only. Okay, for your studies or anything. Other thing, they must know the damaging nature of it. If you don't know that it's really harmful and it's going to destroy you, then you don't get the willpower you sometimes justify it some way. You think it's not too much dangerous. You must something, I'm not addicted. Then if you're really not addicted, why can't you stop it for 1 month? You must question that. And you say, no, you can't, like you just keep on tomorrow, then you are addicted. Okay. So this is something I have known about this. And the other thing is about the pineal gland, the pineal gland. The pineal gland, there is this, this is very much affecting our peace of mind, concentration, and our spiritual life. Okay. So in the pineal gland, there is something called serotonin. I don't know, am I right pronouncing? Chemistry or students, they might know. Serotonin? No. Okay. This hormone, I got to know the blue light, the phone, it damages that. So the blue light, now knowing this, they have put a screen and all that. So blue light, the artificial light, definitely I can understand, so they are where you get anxiety and you can't control, you can't have like attention power, that gets slowly diminished. So this is something you have to be conscious of, that you must limit. You can't be without it today, definitely. You have other work. So at least be conscious of that. And I think about dopamine detox, this is something in the YouTube, if you're looking at the YouTube, YouTube also, the bana, the teachings, they are created in such a way where the dopamine is, more put out. So this is also very important, I think. You have to be, who want to really deeply study the teachings. If you really can't read the books, I would say, then you'll have to, like my father, for example, my father especially, he can't read a book. So for him, listening through the YouTube, I think is okay. But otherwise, slowly learning to read, using the book, I think is very good, because you are increasing your concentration power. It's no point you are getting so much knowledge, but you are not going deep into the teachings. Then, you are not going to have a life-turning effect in your mind, all right, in your brain. So this is some points I want. And also about, you have this doom scrolling. Have you heard about this? Doom scrolling? I don't know, in the short videos, like you go on, I don't know, I can show you like this. This is also known that is more damaging, because why? More dopamine is, put out. So people like to go through short TikTok maybe, right? Talk, I don't know. Some things like that. So this is because why? More dopamine is this thing. So you have to be conscious, aware of it. And from the YouTube itself, you can put this dopamine detox, and you can know a lot about it. Because you don't want to damage yourself, you don't want to hurt yourself, harm yourself. And even games, I got to know, like games have the games, what you're going through, what you're doing there. There are also suicide cases. There are special games that have been banned. So it's a small snake or a big snake, it's a snake. So this, I don't know. I know this is going to be very challenging to parents. I would say that at least until the age of 18, you have to learn to guide them. And, sometimes they might be really stubborn. But at least start doing the morning, evening, prayers. If they don't come, you start. Okay? It's the best way. You can change, like you can be firm also. Some things, like if they tell they don't want to go to school, that you will not listen. Okay? It happened with my parents also, like when my brother refused to go to Sunday school, the parents, they allowed that. But school, they would never allow that. So the parents also must get a strong value. And then only they can, guide or be firm in such a situation. But otherwise, you find that then better you develop some spiritual energy yourself, and definitely that will also have an effect on them. You'll be able to control them in a different way. Don't worry about it. Some children, really smart children in UK, they tell me, like Swaminwan sir, I play games and what should I do to clean myself? Really smart kid. So what did I say? I felt so sad when he asked me this question. He's like maybe 8, 9, I don't know. I told him he can chant Itipiso Gatha 21 times or something. I don't know. I just told him that way. And I'm sure he will get something, he will get some effect from that. So this is what parents, and also it is known in, like who had spiritual background, that these children don't go for drugs and all that and other wrong way. So bringing them to this kind of functions and any other spiritual activity is the best way. You have given them that spiritual support, and what they do after that, sometimes each one have their own karma. Okay, so we must not try to too much control our children, but we must not be too lax also. We must control ourselves, and then we must do our duty to them. And then our consciousness is clear, and we will get some, clever or intelligent ways how to do it. Okay, so that we will not feel guilty that we didn't guide them and so on. Right? So I will tell you something about the other positive side you must know. There's another thing I must tell you. Doom scrolling, I told about this. Now, the other way, actually, the age of 14 onwards, children, something I want to really share. I wish some people taught me this. It's how to, it is especially how to make your mind, our mind, our brain has special potential. So this is normally not fully tapped. Okay. So in the ancient time, it was well known that celibacy, was a main thing that helps for us to develop our special parts of the brain. So in the modern day, zero knowledge. Sometimes some weaknesses are there. Even people who are even university lecturers and teachers themselves, because they have not been trained in that. They have learned to pass exams. They have learned, but they have not controlled these things. And in the modern times, especially, so I tell some people, I used to tell this in the last programs, who are age of like 14 or 13, something in the YouTube. I know no monk will talk about these things, but I think it should be told and taught. So in the YouTube, you have this many topics. Actually, many people who in the foreign countries, they are practicing these things. Just imagine, our countries, if you put it in Sinhalese language, not a single video. It talks with the modern scientific idea, like it's a biological need or something. There's nothing to do with controlling and the blessings of controlling benefits. It's nothing in that. So in foreign countries, it's well known. It's called NoFap. See, it's a bit obscene word also, NoFap, NoFapp. If you put that in the YouTube, you'll find so many videos, especially in the foreign country, they are practicing these things. So I think this is a must. This knowledge is definitely necessary, because your brain is also like a universal university. It has so much power. So I must tell you about one person who demonstrated that power. Have you heard, anyone knows about Vivekananda? Swami Vivekananda. If you studied history in 1893, I think, there was a parliament of religions in Chicago. In that parliament of religions, all religions were represented. Anagarika Dharmapala. Anyone knows Anagarika Dharmapala? Who doesn't know? Raise the hand. Anagarika Dharmapala. Do you all know? Okay. Have you heard from somebody? Okay. So he was also quite a special person. So Vivekananda, he was a Swami, a yogi, a Hindu tradition. So he was a young meditator. So he was also there. So this was like, all very top people in America. They were all there. So it's very interesting. There were about 3-4 people representing Hinduism. Buddhism also from Japan, and Anagarika Dhammapala from Sri Lanka. So one person made a mark, actually shook the parliament. There was like, behind this parliament of religions, there was like a conspiracy where they want to show supremacy of Christianity. Okay, the fathers and all that. They just want to show that Asia is like, they worship stone, and like they are ritual worship, they are demon worshippers, like that. They want to show this. Behind this, it was there. So they didn't know there will be somebody very, somebody, there will be someone who will surprise them. They didn't know. So when all these people gave their speeches, this one young Swami, he was like, he's in his 29 or 30. He was so shy, he saw 70,000 in this auditorium, and he didn't feel like talking in front of the auditorium. So he was there. He didn't want to talk. Then the moderator saw that this person has not given the speech. He said, Swami, your turn, you must give the speech. Everybody has given their speech. It was like 5-minute speech. So when he got up, he surveyed the crowd, and it is said that he said 2-3 words, like sisters and brothers of America. It is said that when he spoke that, they say, the reporters and others said that the parliament went mad. The parliament went mad. They all started clapping, they all got up, and they were telling they felt like paying tribute to something which they didn't know what it was. And they say his voice is like a Chinese gong, Have you heard the Chinese gong? Like doom, there's a vibration that is created. So it was like fresh air to the whole parliament. After that, he became famous. Everybody's wondering, who is this Vivekananda, this Hindu monk? Who is this monk? Okay. So he gave a speech after that. But his initial words, his sound of his voice was the one that really, And then later on, there was a tour group that took him all around America. And when he came to India, he got a very big welcome and all that. So this is how he created again that in Asia there were beings who were very powerful. So later on, some reporters asked, what is this power, Swami? Once they asked him, what is this power you had, that day, that voice that came out? Then he says that in their meditation practice, there's a practice where for 12 years, they control their thoughts not to have any sensual thoughts, okay, especially sexual thoughts, okay. When I heard this, I thought it's too much for me. I can little bit relate with Mahatma Gandhi, where he struggled with these thoughts and something similar to mine, I would say. But in this way, not to have even thoughts like that for so many 12 years. He said there is a practice like that. And when you do like that for 12 years, he said there's like a kind of a cover in your brain that is taken away. And there's a special nerve in the brain, it starts to work. We all have that nerve. He says that it doesn't work in majority of us. But when you do like that, when you control your thoughts in that way, like a whale in your brain, it is taken out. And this nerve starts to work. And in that nerve, he says that there's so much power, so much energy, so much power, knowledge, wisdom, like that. So he said that he also practiced that for 12 years, and that purity came out from his voice. So just to give you an idea, that this kind of, that when you control your mind, also something happens. So I remember, I don't know whether you heard about Somahandro, young people maybe not. He came and made the kind of a temple in, what is this place, Melbourne, no? Melbourne. So actually he invited me when I was a young monk. Maybe he thought that like I was bored and all that, we were very close, my grandma and all that. Through my grandma, we knew about him very well from young age. We also knew that time he looked a very special monk, but we didn't know he would become so like, So he was like a Vivekananda in Sri Lanka, tell you honestly. He showed some power, the Buddhists, practically. Like didn't look so dull, and, he really made it live too. So so he one day I worshipped him, and we were in the same monastery. So I heard him when I was worshipping him. He asked me in Sri Lanka language, right? Sinhala is Australia and Kamatida. Australia and Kamatida. I was worshipping and I was waiting, and like I didn't hear anything. So finally I looked up and said, "No, Swami Mansa." Because then I told I want to practice, and I like to be in the jungles and like in the Himalayas also. I was attracted. So then he said, yes, in Australia, if you come, you can do some more service. So anyway, there's a different reason that made me come. Okay, maybe I might tell you that, but I'm now coming to some main subject because I have to cover now. So anyway, when we discussed, he used to also explain, like when we have anger and fear, we have some kind of chemical reaction in our body, okay, hormonal reaction. We call adrenaline is created, okay? So the adrenaline makes you have these fearful thoughts and so on, all right? There's an interrelation between them, okay? You know about this, right? So he reasoned out, if you practice meditation and if you do prayers and have compassion and all that, and all these things, then also when you make your mind less emotional and peaceful and all that, something should happen in our body. And he named this minus adrenaline. He told it in Sinhala is Vina adrenaline. Okay, minus adrenaline. So I just told him something I remembered called ojas. Ojas is a kind of a material in Ayurvedic terms, which is known. It is more fine substance, or kind of you could say a hormone, which is not detectable through the modern kind of thing, but it's supposed to go to your brain, especially when you practice celibacy, because sex is a very strong emotion, even for food and all that, and other addictive things. It creates poisonous and destructive hormones in our body. All right, so they create those negative emotions. You could say depression comes. We can imagine fear, anger, sort of sudden outburst of kind of emotions. So they will come based on that hormone. So now he says that I told about ojas. So, he's a funny monk, like he's like a baby, his mind is so empty, and he used to pick up things from when he goes, and then he creates his bana teachings. So once I was near the, where the hall where he gave the, like a lot of crowds there. That time he was very famous. And then I was in the next room, So when he came, explained to this part, he didn't tell minus adrenaline. He told about ojas. So I was just wondering how he picks up things and fix his teachings. So this ojas is something, when it goes to the brain, it opens up areas of your brain which was not opened before, and it gets deposited. And then it creates these thoughts again. So sometimes now in these programs or anything, sometimes it might be open up, okay? And when you do some spiritual activity, and then it will get open up. Open up means these things will get created. It will go to your brain and get deposited, and later you will feel like these thoughts will come on its own. So like the body itself supports these thoughts, slowly it happens like that. We know that even sensuality and all these things also, when you have these thoughts, something is created in our body, and suddenly the body is making you have these thoughts. Okay, so when it happens very much, when you get so much, especially with faith and samadhi, concentration power, you become so peaceful, tranquilized. Ojas is more created. And when a lot of that ojas is created, you could see your body begins to change. It becomes more charming. It becomes more attractive. And you could see that especially in your cheeks, and forehead, there'll be a shine. So you don't have to apply what you call this Nivea, you have Nivea. And what is the other one you have? Fair and Lovely? I don't know. Sri Lanka we have. They bought it here. Yes. So that's why some models are taught to, do yoga and all that, because, to be attractive and not only their physical body. So even if your body is black, dark, or this thing, you have charmingness. This will happen. I'm not, some people there are like some very narrow-minded. It's not foreigners actually, Sri Lankans. Some narrow, and I don't know what they are, but I feel love for them what to do. When I speak like this, they're totally against what is this. Not only me, I understand that any fresh breath to the Dhamma. I don't know how they are doing this kind of karma. That's happened now. Actually, some of my organizers, they're too attached to me. So they have complained to me, Swaminathan said, these people are there. Should we block them or what should you do? I said, don't get attached to me. This is your problem. You should not get attached, and we must have criticism. I have told how to, maybe in the program I'll explain how to face, the things through the teaching. This is very important. We are not trying to go into, like, we are going to be only friends with people who are telling good things about us, and we should not get attached to them, and we should not get upset by when people change or things, we are criticized. And there's a way how to do it. Maybe I will explain to the end of the program how the Dhamma is done practically. So I'm just creating the basic things just to tell you the benefits of disciplining yourself, overcoming habits. Okay, that's another important thing. And wrong habits, bad habits, you must slowly do those things. So this ojas is created, okay? Especially when you have faith and all that, you become more charming, more nice, more attractive. And your skin begin to become like soft, like a baby, okay? You have a rough skin. We normally associate people, we think this guy looks, very like shady, right? We normally, maybe a druggie or something. Sometimes we think like that, just looking at a person. But sometimes it's not all, like it's in general. Some look shiny also, I don't know, maybe they're applying something, but you can feel that suspicious feeling in them, But we can't judge when we are also suspicious. Sometimes we might think others are also like that. This mistake also happens. So we can't really, we also have to be quite pure to judge another pure person. Otherwise, we think like the glasses we are wearing, we begin to think even good people as somebody really, bad because of this thing. So this is very important. Just to tell you that, and the other thing, when you're reading and analyzing, some different other substances created. It's called tejas. Now, tejas is more finer than the ojas. Tejas is like a very more thick substance, which is created when you have wisdom. So other one is when you have a lot of faith. You can know a person, it looks, a body has an aura, special aura and a kind of special charming nature when they are like who have faith and who have like, devotional as well as who have concentration power, who have calm mind. It shows in their entire physique. And then when you have analyzing and sort of that way, it creates this very specific one called tejas, which is something. So when you're reading the teachings, and this is where Buddha is mainly, his main this thing contribution, Buddha means wisdom. So actually like a buddhi in Sanskrit, in Pali it means, it's mainly for that. That's why it's a phenomenon, it happens in the world where some being begins to become enlightened about this life, about this world, like this. Okay, so this is very important. I hope you all got these points. I think I covered the basic. I talk about Swami Vivekananda just to tell the benefits of, controlling your mind, controlling your this thing. I talk about the pineal gland, okay, and the blue light. This you have to be very careful. So the other thing, before I explain some other thing, anything you want to ask now, or what I spoke, or anything? I want to speak something. It's boring for me to repeat some of the my own old things. Anything that might interest me also. And if you have a question, or did you all understand what I said, or what? What do you think? It makes sense? Okay. You can ask later some questions. Okay, end of the program maybe. So I'm going to come to another special. Why did I speak all these things? My whole practice also was disciplining myself one by one. Even when I started this practice, till I was attached to cricket. Okay. So my batting was, my batting went down because my fitness level went down, because I became very slow and mindful and all that when this spiritual experience took over. So I used to I didn't pay much attention to building up my body. So when I went for the matches after that, I was very good because I could concentrate better, but I couldn't hold, I used to get run out or something like that. So bowling also, I was not fit. I was fast bowler that time. So what happened? I realized one by one you had to give up. So I realized if you want to go on the spiritual path, you had to one by. When I gave up something, I knew some like 100 things came to me spiritually. So this way, I realized that. Then one day I thought this was my last match, and I gave up cricket. Okay. Still, I feel a little bad about it. What to do? You can't play 2 games. Okay. So when I gave up, I got something. Like that, I start to develop my practice. So then I was with my grandma's place. And then whole time I was in the room practicing and listening to Pirit and reading the suttas. And then I was, doing my A-levels. It was terrible. Any of you doing A-levels? No? Okay. So, and I did a small mistake. Should I tell you? I don't know. So I don't lie, but I don't tell the truth also. It happened like that. So what happened? I had tuition classes, the A-levels, and I was with my grandma. So I was like a monk completely. So what happened? I go for the classes and I go to the temple. So I was going like that for nearly 6 months, I think. I get into my bike and grandma blesses me and sends me away. So she never asked me, So she assumes maybe I'm going to the class. And it happened like that. And suddenly some relation came up, with, not relation, in a party I realized, or a dinner, that it was told, like they got to know that the tuition place, I have not been going there. And then it came, but, they were so respectful and all that, because I was practicing the Dhamma, they didn't want to come and tell in front of me. So it was a tough time. And then all the relations got together one day. My parents were in Lesotho still, and they were wondering what is my future. And in those, in relations, there are like some relations who are controlling. Okay. So I had an uncle who was controlling everything, and then my parents were very innocent, very, I really, that's maybe the reason I was born there. They were like, really very innocent, nice people. And so some of my relations very powerful, they They were very controlling, but they were controlled by me. Very interesting. I was 18 years. They didn't want to approach me because of the sila, because I was practicing this. I found that they just didn't come and tell me anything. So they, I think, would have thought 100 times to come and talk to me. Though I was a small boy. So they used to tell my grandma, what is Shanaka doing and all that. They were really, and when I come, they are like, oh, very. It was like that. So one day they were really worried about these exams and things like that. So there also I had to ask the help of the gods. It happened. I can't tell you. It's a long story. It will be I'm going out of the topics. There something happened where I got some confidence and told them, and actually I predicted that time. Not I got this thing where when I would be entering the university. I wrote one letter. I wrote few letters in my life. This was one of the letter to my parents, exactly telling the month that nothing to worry, and then that I was admitted to university. That letter came on that month. Okay. So these are very interesting because some of you might not believe karma, inside my bag, I have something to prove in Melbourne program, especially. I found, I don't see here very much. Maybe here you're more educated, or I don't want you to blindly believe anything. You search for the real truth. Then you appreciate if Buddha's teaching is real or not. So in the Melbourne program, I remember I was told, especially before that, that they don't believe in any religion or anything. In the school it's like that and all that. So why? I mean, I don't tell anyone to believe. I don't tell anyone not to believe also. What is this extreme? What is this? Is it fair? You should research, study, and then decide. Without doing any of that, why do you fall into any camp? I don't think that is the right way. So anyway, these young people, they were all very young. All of them maybe they thought this mad monk is coming. That's why they all came also. But I found them very, but then finally I had to show them something very personal to me, which happened recently. And I hope suddenly they got a little bit shocked because it's regarding something about karma, and that things do happen. Some things are like some seers in India, actually, they have this ability. They don't see bodies, they see your karma. What is the karma you're going through, and what karma you did in a before life, and how long this karma will be there. I knew something about even my brother about this. He's like 9 years younger to me. So when he was like 14, 15, I knew he was going to go through a hard period. Already I knew. And so that time he got into bad company. I was trying to bring him to some spiritual activity, and it was not easy. So I knew only spirituality will, really, smoothen his period at that time. So I did whatever possible, at least expose him to those things. And I think it created some blessings. So I was expecting that. So that is how do you know that this life just doesn't go by chance? Somebody might think that I'm talking about like sastra, like you have this sorcery, or what do you call it in English? Soothsaying or something like that. No, I'm bringing these things out because some of them, they don't believe karma at all. This is one way, my personal way to, give some proof. I also don't want to just believe anything. And another thing I want you all to refer, if you have time, is called Many Mansions, called Edgar Cayce Many Mansions. It's very interesting. It's about karma, the law of karma. Edgar Cayce, in Sinhalese you have, Sansara Mandire. One monk has translated that. So in Edgar Cayce, he was a Christian. He used to go into unconscious states, and he used to diagnose people's, problems and, diseases and all that. He used to diagnose it and give some remedy. So he was called the miracle man of Virginia. He became famous. He's no more. So whatever, he used to go into unconscious state, and somebody used to come to him, and he used to tell their reason for their sickness. And he used to tell sometimes Crusaders' time, Crusader, that time, like a soldier, what you did, how you're experiencing something, like migraine, for example. My teacher used to explain to me that also, like he also had a migraine. it was not solved, So in the Crusaders' time, in this reading, it is said that he was a soldier. And in that situation, he has killed somebody or hit on the head. Like my teacher, for example, he also had a migraine. He's German Bante. So when he purified, when he practiced, because some of our memories are not given by nature for us, we can't handle it. So when our mind is capable, only we begin to know about our past. Sometimes some problems don't get solved until we know the cause from the past. Okay, so this kind of problem, my teacher also had like a migraine. So he said when he practiced Anapanasati, at certain time of his life, after several years as a monk, one day he suddenly heard a voice like, listen. And he had a vision. I don't know whether it's a dream or a vision. And then he saw this scenario, happening where there was this soldier jumping and, clubbing somebody on the head. And then he realized that soldier was him. And then he suddenly got the same shot or the feeling, the pain, and he woke up or he came out of that vision. And from that day onwards, he said that migraine went away. So some of our karma, this karma is true. Okay. So one I know in the case studies, very interesting story of one lady in New York where she came and she was she had some problem. She was a very spiritual lady. And the way she earned her living was she used to show her beautiful hand. She had a very extremely beautiful hand where she used that for, I think, jewelry, advertisements and all that. So that's how she, earned her living. And then she had another problem with her family or something. And so she came to this Edgar Casey. And he went to this unconscious state. And then what he diagnosed, he told that in previous life, she was a nun. And as a nun, that's why she's so spiritual this life. And as a nun, what she did was she has cleaned the toilet and all these things, not with yuck feeling, She really, with faith, she has put her own hand and cleaned all these things that way. So that was the karma, that she had such a beautiful hand. So like this, there are so many other stories. I hope you all can read that. One of my friends, classmates, I told him this book and he read that. After reading this book, he wanted to be a monk. But only problem was, he was different to me, He went to all those parties. And I think he married an Australian later. He was in Australia. He came for work. So initially he was with me in, at Trinity in Sri Lanka. We were classmates. We were very naughty. That one we were super naughty. This age, caning, daily caning. And my mother used to, when she used to remove my pants, she used to see this, because I can't stay like this. I don't know how you all are staying. All these young ones. They are very special, I guess. And I used to be in the back of the class and fight and this and that. Couldn't stay, too much energy. It was there until 14, because only when I went, it went inward. So it went for all these sports and all that, but didn't fight. Southern Africa, Lesotho, all that stopped. But I used to go into burst of anger with my father, like close people. Maybe it's the teenage period, 14, 15, all these other things also changing. So I feel really bad, I remember. But I used to control myself. I used to just hold the chair, and I would have done something really bad with that emotion. And my father was so kind and all this turmoil was going on, and my research was going on. And then all came to this age of 18. So wait for 18, who are 14, 15, don't worry. Your good time will come. Okay. And so it happened like that. So I want to now go into a very important topic. It's regarding maybe people who want to think. This has been my main topic. It's about something very deep my teacher used to explain to me. But I present to you all, this is my mission, as I told you. Because maybe in previous programs, there were programs for children and all that. But I believe you all are young people who have come. Maybe you are getting already this knowledge, something for you to think already, and it might help you in the future. Okay? It's regard what we are made up of. All right. We have, Buddha explains that we are made up of what? We have the body and we have consciousness. Okay. Do you know when I say consciousness? We are like we become unconscious. Okay. Then we have only the body. Says we become conscious. Okay. Somebody hit us and we become unconscious. Then suddenly someone put water and we become conscious. How do you know we are conscious? What happens is there are parts of consciousness. In consciousness, what we call major thing in the consciousness is feeling. Okay? We know we are conscious also when we start to feel. All right? So feeling, and what we feel we perceive as pleasant, unpleasant or neutral. Okay? This is called perception. And now the way we perceive, we react. Okay? This is happening all the time. Okay? Even right now. So we react with what? With the pleasant feeling. When we perceive it as pleasant, we react with what? Hate? No? Greed. Okay? When we perceive it as something nice, what will happen? We react with greed. We want to have it or something like that. So if we think, Buddha says it is called mind karma. Okay? If we speak like that, it's called word karma. If we do something, it is called action karma. Okay, so now Edgar Casey, they don't explain, but nice things are explained there also. Sometimes we don't express outside, but we keep it very inside. How that also comes in our life, very interesting. I think it's a very enlightening book. It's interesting someone want to research on life, because I don't think it explains karma, it explains rebirth to the modern mind, like Buddha explains the mechanism so in detail. Now even consciousness is explained by, like in the modern times, in the modern neuroscience and all that, it's hardly known. They are still researching. They are thinking it's something still part of the brain. Okay, material part of the brain. Okay, they don't think that is something separate, that the body is taken as a vehicle. This is known by ancient philosophies like the Upanishads. Okay, and these are nicely explained by one person. It's called Deepak Chopra. Have you heard about him? These books you must learn if you really want to know more about things, Deepak Chopra, he explains a lot about very much, he's very entertaining and he's really argues with the scientists and the modern scientists. He's also a scientist, but he's a kind of a, he wants to know this. He's a real scientist, I will tell you, because he's not a kind of a frog in the well scientist. So anyway, Deepak Chopra, very nice. He also explains these parts, but the Buddha explains very clearly how the origin of consciousness and the consciousness will also cannot arise at all. Okay, this is a big question. If anyone wants to know the world one day, if you know in the modern time also, you will get answers from the Buddha. But I'm going to explain now, today. Okay, I'm going to explain connected with the rebirth process. What is rebirth, what is reborn, and how it happens. It's connected with karma. Okay, even this program you want to come, there's karma with me. All right, somebody would have announced first somewhere there's a program going on like this, and then you'd have got the urge, I want to go, and then now you come here. Okay, it's manifesting. So that's how you must know that what we feel an urge is because there's karma. It's very interesting now. Suddenly, sometimes some people are married, maybe sometimes they are having a relationship. Suddenly you find you're attracted to somebody and you feel so connected. There are reasons that person could be maybe your sister before, or maybe your preferred wife or husband. So there's mixed, complicated karmas come in between. It can happen. And you feel more attracted to the other person than this person. So this is coming, this can be only explained by karma. Okay? So this is very important to know, that you have a desire because you have that inclination to have desire, and that is karma. And karma is created first by that reaction. Okay, this is called sankhara in the Pali. This thing, sankhara, mental formations, that's how in English is translated. So this is how every time we are doing this. Okay, how we perceive, we react as pleasant, and pleasant with aversion, attraction, greed, and unpleasant with aversion, and neutral feeling, we react with delusion, normally it's called. Just we wait without doing anything, that is delusion. Okay. So if you only think by reaction, it's called mind karma, mano karma. If you talk like that, it's become word karma. If you act, it becomes body karma. Okay? So this just have an idea of it. Now, have you heard about that when you die, you get a last thought? Have anyone heard? Now, at your age, when you're very small, I used to think to myself, I don't know how I thought about that. When I am going to die, I must look at my breath, observe the breath. Like that I thought. Husmata hita pihitanna ඕනේ කියලා. I thought when I was like maybe 6, 7, 8, I remember. And also when I was 9, I must share this story. When I was at school in Sri Lanka, me and my friend, at your age, how old are you? Yeah, 11. Really? You look so small. I know you want to be big, but very good to look small, you know. Look more sweet then, you know. What about the other one? 11, really? Yeah? Okay, maybe my judgment is now, you know, I hardly be with small children. So okay, that must be the size, you know. Actually, when I came from Lesotho, I was small made. That's why I was so naughty. One thing is maybe I want to prove, you know, I had a kind of a complex that, you know, I want to, so at Trinity, you know, I was so small made. I used to do everything, drink milk, I don't know, all type of thing, do exercise. I was not putting on weight. But when we went to Lesotho, even when I was 14, actually my father was well built and he was normal. I mean, according to normal people, right? And they used to ask why they couldn't believe I was that age. And slowly I started, I don't know whether it's the environment, the food or what, I don't know. Actually, I started growing and now I'm trying to get thin. Okay. So anyway, it happened like that. So at your age, I remember, maybe younger than that, maybe 9, okay? One friend of mine, a classmate, while we were fighting, you know, we did all these naughty things. Suddenly this time came like 2 days, 3 days, we had this thought. Those days, you know, we used to fight. Like, I know when you hit here, your breath, when you hit to the liver, now I know what is the organ there, liver, your breath gets stuck, you know. So we used to hit that special spot. So what happened, what I did was, now I put what is this, you know, very light wooden board. I hid it behind my chest. And I used to go to those friends and tell, now hit me, doesn't matter, you can hit me, you know. They were also suspicious, why is he coming so open? So this was like this kind of period, you know. Suddenly the thought came, both of us, we were like monks. And we were walking around a tree, actually. Imagining that was a Bodhi tree. And we were like peaceful and walking, and we imagined we were monks, actually. And we were planning to run away from home. We knew our parents would not allow us. And those days in Kandy, there was the Dangwala, you know, we had the village temple, the Dangwala. And we were thinking we are going to run to that temple and we are going to ordain. And it was there for like 3, 4 days. And it was like a romantic feeling, you know, kind of a romantic spiritual feeling. And then after that, it went away. So, but after the age of 18 only, I had that, you know, with understanding, and it was clear. So I was going to explain something, right? So this, you must know, in the Buddha's teaching, what we call ourselves, a person, is the body, and we have consciousness, okay? These two parts made. In the consciousness, there are these 4 factors. What is it? Can you guess now? What do you have in the consciousness? What are the factors? Just now I told, you feel, what you feel, you perceive, is called perception. What you perceive, you react. Okay? It is called sankhara in the Pali text. Okay? So, normally we get the idea of me as me. What do you get as me, mainly? What do you think is me? It's your body. Okay? And then more than the body, sometimes we know we get our mind, what we are thinking is me. All right? So this is, without this, to the thin air, do you think we get the idea of I or me? Do you get it? Okay, me is always associated with some substance. So what is the main substance? It's a body and consciousness. All right, but I will tell you maybe later that it's mainly connected with the feeling. Okay, now say you're seated like this. All right, suddenly you're maybe at your age you don't get that, but your leg might get numb. All right, the blood is not flowing. If you don't see it with your eyes and you are like this, sometimes you might think whether the leg is there, right? So whether my leg is there, whether the leg is there, and you will, even if someone sometimes maybe cut a piece and do something, you will not feel or feel anything. You will not think that it's me there. But soon the feeling comes, you get the idea, oh, it's me. But remember, the feeling is also conditioned, like any even food when we eat, when the food is touching our tongue, you get a feeling. And you think, I am feeling. Okay? But that what you have munched and all that, when it finishes, when you swallow it, the feeling goes away, right? The feeling is conditioned. So do you think you disappeared? What do you think? Or is there really a you? Or you are thinking there's a you? Because you know that without a feeling, you don't get the idea of I at all. Okay? If you don't have feelings at all, you don't get the sense of I. So with the feelings, when they arise, automatically because you attach or crave, you get the feeling this is I. Now I have this, auto rickshaw driver in Sri Lanka. He's a Tamil gentleman, young boy. So sometimes he talks to the auto. He's like a small boy sometimes. He's so attached to the auto, auto rickshaw. I don't think you have here, right? Tuk-tuk, they call it in India. Like three-wheelers. So he sometimes he sometimes tell to me also, he knows I am also like a small kid. So he tells Swami Mansa in Sinhalese, he's hungry, he needs some food. That means he needs petrol. So like that, he just really see, and he's a good boy. Nothing will happen when we are going on the journey. Like that, he speaks to the auto. So I know it's because of his attachment. You make it a person. You will notice that when you give a lot of attachment to something, you create life into that, or you feel it's like a person is a junk, metal, all metal. Same way to this body, because of our attachment, we get the idea it's me. Now we feel so attached to our parents, our kids. Then how do we picture them? Their bodies, we picture it as them. That's why relations, like even something happen, they are very concerned about the body, even to bury the body or something like that, because they feel it's really the person, and they will, really they are burying that person. So they really identify with that picture and so on. Okay, but we know that's a changing thing, and with the meditation only we realize that this body is not them. Now I want to go to this topic. So it's clear that consciousness, do you have an idea? That is something separate from the body, and also how the consciousness arises. It needs an organ and an object. Okay, like the ear and the sound waves, the eyes and the form. Okay, the smell, the nose and the smell. So based on this, how slow motion, if you take it like that, you have these two. You need these two as conditions. So if, for example, if the object is not there, you have the eye, do you think you will have consciousness? You have to think a bit. I'm making you to think. I'm coming to now deep waters. Okay? We know at your age, but can't help it. This is the main subject I'm coming to give everybody. So, what do you think? You need an object, you need the eyes, and there's some kind of attention, initial attention, then only the corresponding consciousness takes place. Okay, that's how it's explained. All right. So you have the ears. If you don't get a sound, it will not happen. You need a sound wave coming externally. And you have the ear. Ear also has to be okay. If it's like you're deaf or something, some problem with your ears, then it will not. It should be functioning well. With these two, only these two coming together also is not enough. There has to be that reflection, attention, initial. Then only suddenly with consciousness comes. Consciousness comes means there will be feeling and perception and the reaction. Like say I became unconscious, somebody hit me, and soon when like blurred way, I will be I consciousness will come. I will slowly recognize. First, it will be some feeling. I recognize the person who hit me, and that will be painful feeling. I will notice that pain, and then I'll have aversion. So if he's nearby me, then maybe I'll kick him, okay, or hit him, or try to run or something. So it becomes body karma, okay. So this is for simple explanation. This is happening all the time. So we know. Have you heard about that last moment we get the last thought? Have anyone heard about this? I don't know that we have a last thought, chutisita. Do you know even other Christian faith, when they are going to die, what do they bring? They bring the priest, and what they are trying to influence? They are trying to influence the last thought. That's why they bring. Otherwise, they can have a party or something, But who have little faith, they think they must have a spiritual thought. Okay. So why is so important? Last thought means when there's a thought, object means, do you think the conditions for consciousness is there or not? You have the mind and you have a last thought means it's an object for the mind. Okay. When you have these two, mind consciousness will arise or not? Will arise. Okay. Keep this in mind, this small point. Okay. So normally, when we die, we get what we have accumulated a lot. The type of karma we have accumulated a lot, that thought will come. Especially people who were attached to families and maybe working place, and maybe they didn't do anything bad, but they were not very good. Very good means they were not detached. Okay. Such a people, they will be accumulating karma. For example, they will get attached to children or something of family, or then something is not happening the way they want, and they will be getting angry. So this way, you find even when you fall asleep, you remember how you had so many thoughts of that kind. And at work also is same. So if you don't do a spiritual practice enough where you're controlling your mind, this type of karma you'll be accumulating. All right. So I know some old people, when they were close to death, I happened to come there before dying, or suddenly they begin to see their dead parents, and they were like hallucinating, and so they were really, they know me, and when I came, they were very happy because they knew I'll understand what's happening to them. So like doctors give them some kind of sedation, to calm them down, but they're having all this like schizophrenia, I don't know how do you name it? Like they used to see them actually. So I knew that they are like dead ancestors. Okay. So, but I knew this family very well. So their parents, I knew that they had done a lot of good deeds in Sri Lanka, like in 1940s, in 1950s. They have gone to Burma, they did meditation retreats in Burma, and they have built monasteries. They have done so many, Katina Pinkamas, and like the 4 Poyas, they take Sil, and they, like that I heard they were doing a lot of good things. Then I was wondering how they were born here, to those ancestral plane. Ancestral plane means you had attachments, so much attachments, you are not properly dead. You are still, experiencing your previous life, and it's not easy to leave that plane. So you get a consciousness, corresponding to that plane. Okay. So, so what happened? I was wondering why did they born like that? And now their relation is going to die, who I went and met. So now actually he also done similar karma, and it was distracting them. They want to bring him to their plane. So they were all this time they have been with him, and we didn't know. So it's like they are in all of us. Okay, our grandma, our ancestors before that, they are sometimes they are born also as our children. So anyway, in this situation, they were like that. So I was wondering what happened, how did it? So I realized, though they did this meditation or practices like that, they didn't detach enough in their meditation, especially in the morning. When they start the day, they would have meditated just for the name's sake. Your meditation should be to a point where you forget about your external environment. Okay? Whether it's through metta or anapanasati, metta meditation, compassion meditation, or concentrating the breath, you must master it to where your gross body you're separating to a certain extent. Okay? If you don't do that, what happen when you do your normal work, you get distracted. You take things so real, and you are mentally tired. You know you are properly doing the meditation when you are mentally not tired. So it should start. You should have a routine where in the morning you're getting this nice peaceful feeling, and maybe your work might get neglected by that. But if you start to do that, and some have told me they have tried, but when they try to go along, now I tell there's two practices if you want to develop peacefulness. One is sense control, and the other is mindfulness of the body. Okay, sense control is where you don't look at the details. Like when you're crossing the road, you look what are the cars and all that. And when the cars are not there properly, you look. But you don't look who is inside the car. Okay, that's an idea how you practice sense control. Okay, you don't vapara hang, vapara kaning, like you don't look at the details of the object. So that is, if you want to develop meditation, if you want to come to subtle states of consciousness, you'll have to develop like that. So leave alone if you're addicted to so much draining your energy in entertainment, like through the phone and all that, you will not be able to experience those, So slowly you must learn to curb those things, and then you must start immediately, try to practice the metta bhavana or mindfulness of the breath in the morning. And slowly, when you go out, think how I'm not going to look at unnecessary things, hear unnecessary things, and then how am I going to place attention to the present moment. Present moment means just placing your attention to what you're seeing. Can you see the carpet right now? And can you just pay attention to what you're hearing immediately? Can you? What do you hear? Some vehicles, car. When you're trying to pay attention like that, can you notice anything in your body specifically? Can you? Like the highway or the road, you can hear that slightly. When you're trying to properly hear like that, do you notice anything in your body specifically? Breathing? That you're breathing? Pulling your breath in and breath out. When you come to that noticing, that's a good sign. To some extent, you have come to the present moment. So these things you can, if you want to start the meditation, this you can do even while you're driving, you're walking, slowly. Just paying to the simple things. As children, you can do it, you can start very easily. Actually, we should have remained a child where you don't complicate it with a lot of thoughts. So this is very important if you can start. So I noticed that these people would have not practiced enough. Okay? So they've attached to their family still. Though they did all these good pinkamas or meritorious deeds, they didn't get detached enough. Okay? So what happened? When they were born like that. So I'm thinking those good karma I see it as those planes like a transit lounge. A transit lounge means where, do you like to stay in a transit lounge or a bus stand, in the airport for 5-6 hours? Do you like to? We don't want to. So just imagine staying in the same area for so long. There's no end for those planes. It's not easy to give up that attachment. It is a part of the apaya worlds actually. Hell worlds better than the animal world. So I was just thinking maybe how this merit must be. Maybe I thought in that transit lounge, maybe they must be having KFC or pastime, maybe more facilities. It's not a joking thing, actually. I just want to send that point out. But, before who are living now, you must know the standard of what practice you must bring. Because I'm telling you, my main the push to everybody in my programs and all this meeting is to target you to some experience. This life, how to prepare for the death and next. So maybe it's too heavy for the younger ones, but who are mature, there could be here. There could be saints here who are in the young body still. It might work in their mind for sure. Otherwise, I don't know how you all came. I think there was this match today, bash or what? Today. Bash? Big bash or what? Maybe I can go and come, right? I don't watch too much. I used to play, I'm not too much interested in watching. It's like the playing the cricket. So this is very important. So this plane is there. This plane of... so I realized this practice is not enough. So I'm telling you all, in the morning, you must start, especially the elders also, if they really want to practice these things, this compassion meditation and the mindfulness while you're driving. In America, in UK and all that, some of them, they want to, like I like to go silent mostly. So I think the organizers have told. I think this gentleman follows that quite a lot. He knows he's sensitive. But some are not, They see, oh, this is the time we can ask something from Bante. And so I also don't say no. So one of them asked me when I was going the back seat. Actually, I like to go in the back seat. In Sri Lanka, we can't go, the people expect a monk to go in the front seat. So this one gentleman asked Swamin once, how to meditate. I have never meditated, how to meditate. And they think it's like just simply I can tell in one word and all that. So I thought now I can't explain a lot. Maybe I'll make him to do it right now. I said, Mahatyo, shall we meditate now, Mahatyo? He said, yes, how? So I told him, just drive while you're driving. Can you feel the steering properly? The leather touching to your hand. And can you also notice feel the back of your, touching the seat? Can you notice it, how the sensation there? And then the clutch or whatever you're holding, the leg touching that. Can you little bit notice that while you're driving? So anyway, I said that. And he was silent. He didn't ask me any question. So I think something was happening at that time. And end of the journey, because some of these newcomers, they really practice. There are some who have a lot of knowledge put into their head and, they won't practice at all. So he was silent, and he was like dropping me to a program like this. And end of the program, he was just telling Swami Mansa, I didn't feel tired. What was that, Yes, this is, and I got to know later, in like the highway, there are like miles and miles and you can really practice. So many hours, you will not feel tired. You will not feel tired means what? You have some degree of samadhi experience. That means equanimity, equanimous, this thing. So this is how you must start these practices. So this is very important in your daily life, where if you are doing the work where you don't feel tired, that means you have meditated. Okay? So I'm coming to this important topic. So these people, I feel they have not practiced that way. So now last moment we have a thought, last thought. And two things happen when you are dying. Do you know this? One is you get a last thought and you get a last what? Breath. Have you heard that? You have a last breath going. I hope you all will not see, someone dying last moment anyway. But good to study this. Last moment there is a last breath and then there's a last thought. So normally, why do we get thoughts? Like I told you initially why immediately we heard from somewhere there's a program. So that created what? A thought. Okay, and then we got an inclination, we have a desire. That thought means what? Previous karma. You all would have meditated in the past. You all would have, maybe you want to go to the, what is this, bash or whatever. Because there is some desire for this. You can't have desire suddenly. You would have definitely done these things and there's karma in this. Okay. So because of the karma, you felt inclined, and also you got a thought, a stimulation. Okay, so this you must know, very important. Why you get suddenly to go to this college or do this or that. There's karma behind it. Okay, so and then you get the opportunity to go, and sometimes you get obstacles, and you go take another path, and you become really successful in that. Okay, so this last moment, why do we get distracted? Because we have nature of craving. Okay, and then there's karma. Karma is created by craving, because we had the craving nature in the past, and we get the result as a stimulation as a thought, and we feel distracted by the thought because we have craving right now. All right, so normally when people who have got attached like that, they remember mostly maybe their children. Okay, there's so much attachment to children, not to their husband or wives. The child is quite a strong thing that might come, or maybe some people we got attached to. So that when you get the last thought like that, becomes an object for what? Consciousness to arise. All right, when there's consciousness, we know name and form arises. Okay, Buddha has told body and mind arises, and they are in the mother's womb or somewhere that happens. Okay, so this is how the rebirth takes place. So have you heard about somebody called? So normally when the last breath goes and a last thought is there, last thought arises, do you think a normal person like that will be able to look at observe the last breath? Or do you think he'll be distracted to the last thought? What do you think? Yeah, even now we are not observing the last breath, the breath that is going on. So leave alone the moment of death. Okay? So that will happen, right? I'm trying to give a very important point. Someone who is really want to find this. Normally my teacher tells this when I am peaceful, but when I was peaceful, when he explained this, very later it made very big sense. All right. So I'm trying to give you all this also now, familiarize you this. The conditioned nature of consciousness. All right. Even Deepak Chopra, they don't know. Even the old sciences of India, they found that consciousness is separate, but they talk about a pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is also a consciousness. So that's why the Buddha left those old teachers and went to find his own way, and then he became Buddha. There he found how the conditioned nature of consciousness, and the conditions are taken away. I will tell you now. Okay, and when the conditions are taken away, how it cannot arise. Okay, this is a very deep thing about our being. And so what happened? Now you know, the last moment we get a thought, we get distracted, and normally we can't keep it for the last breath. Now, have you heard about anagami, a non-returner in the sainthood? In the Buddha's sainthood path, non-returner means a person who does not arise to this birth, this world. So also he has no desires of this world. That is what? 5 senses. Okay, for eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, he has no any desire whatsoever. Right? But he still get distracted by what? Meditation, peace of mind, which is experienced by the mind, brain. Okay, so he has still karma made in meditation to peaceful feeling. So for 5 senses, for anything in this world, he has no desire. All right, and he has no karma. So when he's dying, do you think he'll be distracted by, or any thought will come regarding the monastery or any family or anything? Do you think he'll get any thoughts? No. But he will get distracted by, pleasant feeling, peacefulness. All right. So when he's dying, do you think he can keep his attention to the last breath, or do you think he'll be distracted by something else? What do you think? He'll be distracted? Or do you think he'll be able to keep it to his last breath? Does he have karma still? No? Okay. You're now thinking. And will he have something to get distracted by? Will he? Not the sounds, forms or anything, but anything else you think he's still, why is he called anagami, non-returner? He doesn't come to here, but he goes somewhere else and perfect. Okay? So to go somewhere else is still attachment to something. What is that? Peacefulness, okay? So it is a feeling also. So that becomes an object for consciousness or not? It becomes an object. When there's an object, will consciousness arise or not? But not in this world. What is that world called? Brahma world. Okay, Brahmaloka. Okay. So, so he also will not be. Now imagine yourself. Now whatever I'm speaking, don't take it as a knowledge. You should. I'm a person also who's like myself experienced, and then I'm telling. And you must think. Imagine yourself, for example. You will have no desires for anything whatsoever. Okay, and no karma also. And if you don't have any karma and no desire, when you're last dying, will you get an object to get distracted or not? Only karma makes you have objects. No object, okay? And you also have no inclination to you have no desires whatsoever. Zero craving, okay? Arahant, all right? That's called Arahant. Will he be able to keep his attention to the last breath? When he keeps his attention to the last breath like that, do you see any conditions happening for consciousness to arise? No, you need an object and an organ. Will there be conditions? So when he keeps like that, what happens? Consciousness will not arise. If it doesn't arise, will rebirth take place or not? Not take place. So my teacher used to explain this and warn me, this is deep. And I'm also telling you, it's deep, but think about it one day. Okay? If you want to become enlightened. And when I'm coming to this old, ancient Buddha's original instruction. All right? So those things, if you happen to read them and practice, I hope by meeting me now, it will start. These things will become very sense to you, and maybe one day you will also experience Nibbana. So, foreign monks actually, they happen to use the original teaching. But unfortunately, our Sri Lanka and, like few forest monks, they were doing this. And like we mostly got the teachings from meeting monks in the temples or even the Aranya. So whatever their ideas we practiced. But some people, we didn't able to go from the horse's mouth, So that is the original what Buddha spoke. So English translations are very clear. But unfortunately, the Sinhalese translation, they have out of too much faith, they use old Sinhalese. And the words, nobody understands. And it creates a repulsion to normal public. So to overcome that, I know a few monks, like Kiribati Godanyananda, Amadro, and several others who made some kind of inspiration again. They try to bring it, to make it to proper Sinhalese, speaking Sinhalese, understanding Sinhalese language, not the, some kind of literature and all that. So I found some of those translations also too light, So we chose for our retreat, because in our retreat it's very necessary for me to have the Buddha's original text. Because to impart some of the practice, I need the Buddha's original text, teachings, for one reason. Because with meeting my teacher, he directed me to these books, And then when I started to practice according to that, we had some experience. And there we found the Buddha was alive. He's still living. He's the original words of the real Buddha. So this way, later on, we didn't want to hear anyone. But it is difficult. It's like we have to be brainwashed in the positive sense. Because our ideas now, present ideas, you would like to listen to what I'm speaking, but you would not like to go through what the Buddha actually, because it's something different. It is deep, very simple, but deep. So these words, some people, they think it's like maybe 8th grade, because they made it like a syllabus, like a teaching for school exams. They are not like that. You completely distort and misuse this great treasure, They are creating, it's opening up the eye of wisdom. As I told you, like especially these words, they activate a special part of your brain, which is, here, this area, the frontal cortex. We have like normally the divine eye, and then we have the wisdom eye. So actually in our forehead only our karma is also written. According to the saints in India, when you see a body, they can decode. They know exactly some of the lines, how it shows the type of good and bad karma, which period is going to arise in your life. Okay, so this shows. That's why sometimes there's a saying in Sri Lankan language, "Ape nalale kotla tiyena ape neda." There's a big meaning in that. Oluwe nalale kotla tiyena ke, this karma is also written here, and you can change the karma also from here. How is it that the attention power, the analyzing power, the intuitive power is also here? There's a special eye which is normally not awakened in normal people. It is called the Dhamma eye, Dhamma chakku. So this eye is normally open when you go to the original words of the Buddha. Now I see like Somahamdru and all that. He said the fourth time he's going through the Sutta Pitaka. So you can see, his mind is so creative, so wonderful. He has become a special human being in this modern time also. You see, that happens because his brain has been opened in a special way. Now, when you are in his vicinity, you also get that analyzing. I remember the last meetings I had with him. Your mind also works with this analyzing thing. Now, sometimes in my presence, you might experience this samadhi experience. Okay, like you feel like maybe you don't feel much. It might happen. Okay, so because it's also overflowing, it's also coming out. You have practiced a lot of some particular faculty. So, so this part of the brain, it has to be open. Now, when you're reading this, it will start to happen. So, can I have a book myself? Start. How many hours we have passed? 2 hours. 50 minutes. I'm coming to the end, okay? Have some patience. All right. Normally my program go to 3 hours, but it's 2. But you all have been, but in the end of the program, I'm giving something, some power, okay, some energy, take it. All right. But do you all have this book or some? Doesn't matter. I must tell you something, how I came. I am a forest monk, and I can't say I'm a forest monk. I could say I'm a solitary monk. Okay. So many years back, I was invited to come to USA when I was a young monk. So I told that gentleman, I met him in India, and he said, Swamin Vanse, please come to USA and all that. Especially they thought I was fluent in English and all that. So I told him I will come to USA when I'm an arahant. Okay. I was not joking also, but I don't practice like to become like that. Our teacher didn't teach us. We enjoy our practice. Okay. We don't go with the tension, and we enjoy. We will automatically become when we do the courses. Okay. So I did like practice like that. So but I meant it. I was wondering, why should I go to USA? Why? I mean, I'm still not perfect. I still feel I get irritated sometimes. Actually, my anger and all that really quite disappeared after that 18 years old experience. After that, I could count the times I became, I think I would never sort of like that, no. But I counted the times I little went out of track. But it came, I'll also watch myself, like, Tadavuna kyanne. It became more with my more travels in India, especially with the taxi drivers. Tell you honestly, because with those taxi drivers, sometimes try to cheat you. I went to an uncountable amount of not shouting, but I know tadauna, like I felt tight or pressed my button, like. So what to do? I'm not that perfect. But these things were controlled. After that, no one will believe I'll get angry, like not like that also. But sensual desire, it was a fight, tell you honestly. Raga. desire for that took a long time. That was taking a long time. And I would not say I'm completely, but now with my age as well as the practice, but I can see but I had to fight as a monk also. Okay. So it takes a long time. So with these things, I didn't want to. What am I going to teach others? I thought I will want to perfect more. So then something happened. But anyway, in 2012 also I came to public in Sri Lanka, not to other countries. Okay. Suddenly crowds started to come in Sri Lanka. I had this habit of going to Himalayas. Do you know the Mount Himalayas? No, it's an entire range, of mountains. And have you heard of Kailash, Mount Kailash? You have heard? Which one? Oh, so very nice. So Mount Kailash is a very special mountain there, a very high altitude. So I happen to go like every year. And it's high altitude and you face altitude sickness. And, I have seen people dying in near me when they cannot recover. So I also had altitude sickness several times. And 2015, I had altitude sickness where I also nearly died. Okay. There's another lake called Manasaro. I don't know whether you all know any of the lake. It's supposed to be Anotattavila. In Sri Lanka, in the Buddhist literature, there is a special, like a lake in the Himalayas. It is said that only people who had special powers can go there. But it's not like that. Who have a lot of money and who have a lot of faith can also go there, as far as I know. So if you get by good karma money, then maybe that's one reason. But this lake is there 98 kilometers. And I have asked some senior monks, one time they say that sun rays doesn't fall into that place. But that is not true. I mean, that place, sun rays do fall. But this word anotapta means, according to some of the senior monks, it means it doesn't get hot or it doesn't get heated up. That is true. It is, like you can't so much sun, it will be always cool. I have, gone into the water also. So this 2015, I had some signs not to go, but sometimes I don't believe all these signs also. I'm a person little bit, sometimes I would try to, if the visa was okay, things were going well, so I went. So when I came near to that lake, I was surprised. In spite of all these signs I got, I am there. But it only took few hours. I was fighting with my life. So actually what happened was that, I was going to dip into the water. I was looking for a warm place. I was very fit while I came there. So you must acclimatize slowly. For altitude sickness, to you avoid that, you must acclimatize. That's the main secret. After you get it, no solution. You really must descend. So what happened? I was looking for a quiet place, water where it was warm to go in. Because previous years I have like dipped in. Then suddenly I saw some caves there, and I went and meditated in those caves. While I was meditating, it was all cold wind coming, and I was not well covered. So because I was very fit, I didn't care about it. So the cold wind was there. After that, I realized it was too late to go for a dip. There are hot water springs, and I thought I will go and dip in the hot water springs because I have done it before and I feel fresh. So my guide took me there, and I went to this hot water. It was so hot. I felt like a lot of energy going from my body. I was so really silly. It was two extremes: one cold, one warm, hot. Then they were still getting delay to get a room for me. And it's like a desert area, like, Wild West. I don't know, maybe here also you must be having those kind of places, like really remote area and Western Tibet, right? So I was in this vehicle. Suddenly I was feeling like, dizzy, right? And I knew I was something unusual. So I quickly went to the guide and said, can you get me the room? I want to rest. They also knew maybe something, so quickly they arranged the room and I went and started resting. Immediately I was, it's like I was getting breathless, like getting weak, like slowly I can't even lift my hand, and like Like you run, 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 and how long am I going to do like that? So even I had these boots for the snow, and I was trying to tie my lace in. It was difficult. So they went out. They didn't know I was in such a difficulty. And then I went out. Before I collapsed, I thought I will. I somehow took my body and I went there. And they saw me in a condition where I was getting weak. And then they suddenly, with their small, cell phones, they were communicating one village to bring the doctor. So one local doctor came around 12 o'clock, and he had a balloon-like thing for like oxygen. And he checked my pressure. Pressure was high. And they had to wait for next day morning. He gave me some local medicine, some, some like capsules, Tibetan medicine. And then we waited for the morning until there's an area where you can go and I can be evacuated to Nepal, Takalakot, this airport base. So I was like 2 o'clock in the morning in the room to like 6 o'clock. I'm not sure I will live. I was like, then I was preparing to die. And there we have a practice. Maybe this some bit is very difficult for me now in the retreat. I'm giving that what my teacher taught me, very deeply, how to look at this thing as body, feelings, perception, and to observe yourself. Okay, so this, if you're done very often, you can do it very easily, like a Dhamma Anupassana, where you are contemplating the Dhamma and you're not thinking it's my body, you take it as a body. Okay, so it's if you've done it daily, you can do it. So I was going to go for that practice. Then a thought came, a regret. I couldn't give enough to the people, and I thought then next life I will give what to do, and I prepared myself like that. So anyway, I managed to escape. It's a long story later on, how they took me down, and that's the one that made me decide to come to, the other countries as well. So first the invitations came from Australia. In Australia also, the night before I was leaving, that was 2017, Melbourne and all that. The last night also I was thinking, why should I go to Australia? I can go to Africa. Why not, all these other countries? And then, I have this kind of two sides, like some kind of meditation I have done in the previous life to go to this Himalaya, and this guidance from those seers. Okay, so it started at the age of 18 with the Dhamma experience. This also came. All the spiritual things started to come at that age. So that part was like a guiding thing for me, even up till now. So that the last night when I was reluctant to come to Australia, this kind of perception or information came that don't think that, they are not suffering. In Australia, though you think they are, maybe affluent in, other material things and all that, it's like they explained to me like it's like a desert. So if you go and give some Dhamma, it will be like putting water, to that place. People will feel so nourished, and so then I really decided to come. When I came, I saw the real situation. People with unsolvable problems. And now I'm coming with a lot of, really joy. Joy means not that I enjoy other people's suffering. I know I can be something, So I remember in my initial programs, they were all wondering, in Melbourne, we had it in Berwick, it was the main temple. So people didn't know what it was, So some old devotees came to my room and they want to know. They knew I was also connected to this temple or the senior monk there. And this gentleman I know specifically, he used to come and talk with me. So I don't know whether they will hear, but no one will recognize who that person is. So they had a difficult problem, They couldn't tell the temple. They were shy to tell because they had no faith they will get an answer for that. They couldn't tell the psychologists, they were, they did something from psychiatrics and all that, psychotherapy, but they're not getting a real answer for that. Like this kind of problem. So it was with the wife. So anyway, the wife doesn't want to go to temple or anywhere. She has no belief in any of these things. So anyway, he used to come and tell me this. So finally, after 1 or 2 programs, he came and said the wife asked him, this Hamdro, because he has said, come and come, this Hamdro, is giving some teaching. He said, no, I don't want to go to these temples. I don't, believe any of them. She has told like that. So then she heard from a friend that this Hamdro blesses also, something like this. And when she heard this, she had the feeling to come. So I think the 3rd or the 4th program, she did come. I don't know, I couldn't recognize her. Even still, I do not recognize her. But I remember almost every Pindapata, she was there. To the end of my program, every Pindapata, they were there. Actually, I told these people also because here they didn't know, we were going to have day after tomorrow. I told, announce tomorrow also, because these are the only things, some people can't come for programs. This program, and they might not be able to come for, of course, there's no program here, retreats, and at least the Pindapata, something will, they might get some chance, something that I can give. So this is my first gift given by my teacher. He made us to Pindapate, go Pindapate, as I came as a young monk. And I was with the LTT also, there are the long stories I tell, all this experience, what happened when I was going as a wandering monk. So Pindapati is one opportunity. So there I remember in Melbourne, I was going the first time so some from operating theatres, they come running, Swami Master, I want to offer something. So this is one way to clear their karma or, counteract that. One is Buddha give the remedy for that is dharma, generosity, sila, to discipline your senses, and meditation, bhavana. So it was a really sight for me also, all this. So this person, they had a peculiar problem, she doesn't want to keep the house clean. She want to stay in filth. So no answer for this, all sort of whole house, and like from the dustbin, she want to take something. How to tell people what is going on? So the outside they come like everything is okay. So I hope, I'm sure they got some answers, and some interesting things happen also. So sometimes he comes to the program, like he comes to my room complaining, like the wife shouted at him or something like that. So I feel very sorry, and after a few hours, I'm going to the program. So I tell him to come, join us. Let's go to the program. So like 3-4 of the boys who are taking me also, we go. So the program is a joyful place. It's a place where I hope some, mystical energy will come. And so it used to happen like that. So now also now I had all night programs. I don't know whether you got to know. Like all night I'm having kind of, I call this a spiritual rock concert. it's like that. In Sri Lanka also I've been doing like Ruan Melisaya. I don't know how Mara will give me a good shot, I know. Yeah, I know it's happening, but I will not stop anywhere. Kalania like that. And we had in Melbourne, Kingsborough temple, because there are special days I choose for that. Those and the retreat also, that time, all night I have this. So different kind of activity happen in that. It's also called a time where karma is going to be operated. Karma is going to be cleared. All my programs are like this because even this, I hope in the end also I will do something. Because at least if I'm not enlightened fully, at least I should be a person who have controlled my karma, or done something with that. So until that I waited this last year. In different stages I came to the public. So until like nature gave me some okay. So it happened last year. What happened was that I was like, I went to Kailash, not last year, previous year, because last year just now, yesterday or day before yesterday. So it was the previous year, not this last year, previous year, okay, to that. I went to Kailash and I faced a very tough time. I'm going to end now, okay? It's nearing, all right? This will be long if I explain this, okay? But it's important for me to tell what happened there. I also faced a very tough time. And after that, I was bitten by a dog also in I had an operation for stones in Himalayas. It's not easy there. It's like India, lots of people, population, and the facilities there cannot meet with to the people's demand. So it's another experience I went through, and a lot of blood has gone, in the operation. So after that, I was bitten by a dog also in Delhi. So after that, I was in Himalayas, and there was sudden weakness in my body. Kailash in Tibet, Lhasa, and then I went to. So this weakness was so severe. I thought maybe I'm old now, and later I got to know that the blood has gone, and I should not be doing this kind of difficult activity. So anyway, I went by another way. There was a flight that was going nearby. Anyway, I went and came. So after that, good things were starting to happen. So I tell normally those things in what happened was when you have some difficult, challenging things in your life, remember, there are gems waiting for you. So I'm telling you a recent experience. Like this happened many other things in the past in my life. I have observed that. So when very tough things are happening, actually very good things are waiting for you. So you must be very aware of these things. So anyway, after that, things were starting to happen in such a way that I had a special meeting with some people who have developed their mind in the Samadhi way. He was a young yogi in India, and he has become very famous now because he does some miraculous things. And in the modern day, people have lost faith about Swami Nuances, yogis, okay? They think that, maybe they can't do anything. They are just good for nothing people, eating and sleeping, So in India, everywhere it's like this. It has become so materialistic. So in the midst of that, you find some special, inspiring people do appear. So he's one of them, I notice. I don't want to tell who he is. So, like lakhs of people come. What he does is like very interesting thing. In the crowd, he actually call the people with their personal information. And he tells them to sit down, and he has like a blackboard, and he writes. He writes, and then he asks, why did you come? And they say, we came for some, illness, some problem, some personal thing. And then he has written that and also given a solution. So his solutions are actually like based on the Hindu practice. Maximum will be chanting mantra, and from that coming to samadhi. Okay? Because I'm telling you, I'm giving you better solutions, okay? To tell you in short, in the Buddha's teaching. Better means not only samadhi, panya, and many things for you to clear your karma. So especially the retreat is created for a full clearance of them. Even if you want to attain Margapala, or in our Buddha's teaching, we have path and fruit. Okay? I would not say there can be anything better than that. Because using the old method of Paryapti, Pratipatti, Prativeda. Paryapti means study. Pratipatti means, practicing according to what you study. It's not after you pass exams and then you practice. No. While you're immediately reading, you must learn to apply. This is the main thing, the main gem is called Yoniso Manasikara, or wise reflection. How to do this wise reflection? This is something of the main, maybe I might, this last minute I might touch that, okay? Not easy to give all that in a program, but that's the last kind of thing, the essence, how to get that wisdom, intuitive experience. So anyway, I had this meeting, okay? A meeting means one of my assistants in India told me about him and told about the place. There's a sacred mountain there. So I was not interested to meet him because, tell you honestly, lakhs of people come to meet him and I don't want to be in the crowd like that. So the mountain, I knew it was some special mountain. So I went there. I went to the mountain and I felt some really connected, and I had some very sacred thoughts coming. Like Kailash, but in a different way. Mount Kailash. So there, I went once and I went another time. There's a flight from Delhi to that place. So small flight. Second trip when I went, he was also in that plane. He also, like me, have been now doing programs here and there, and he was coming back to his village and his ashram or monastery and going to meet his, actually he goes and meets his mother when he comes to that. It's a very remote area in India. So I came, he was there, and I must tell you, I was in a disguised way, I didn't want him to know, or nobody to know who I am, what I am. So that small airport, it landed, and when we went, the few people knowing that he has come, they were there. And when he was in the vehicle, he was going, he called me and he said, are you going to that place? I don't want to tell the place. I said, yes. Then he told his security and all these people to bring me there. And then he took me to his place. And there are a lot of people. They have got to know he has come, and like 11 o'clock in the night, a lot of people, army was there to control the crowd. And he took me to his small house. His parents are there. So there was one foreigner and few people waiting for him, like an audience, and then he came. And later he knew all others well, so he talked few words, and he told, I want a minute with you. And he sent all those other people, and he kept one person to translate. His English is not very good. So what happened? He did the same thing to me. He didn't write in a blackboard. He told everything, what was going on, and what's my goal and everything. And later I met him many times. And then he told the reason why we were meeting. To see, we have been brother yogis in previous life, according to him. And later on, one day he came telling that my practice is not enough. Like a lot of crowd is there. He used to always come to me whenever he see me. Said, your practice, not like that, your practice is not enough, not enough. Later, he also don't know why he said not enough. And when we met privately, he told me, we want you to do more. We think you can do more meditation. Not that your meditation is not enough. Like that, he encouraged me. So I went and practiced more, and I came back to see. Still one day I saw him and I asked, how is my practice now? And he looked from far and he looked and said, like this. And I knew something wrong, And then he said, I will explain. And in his room, he explained again to me that my samadhi meditation was okay, but my wisdom meditation, analyzing, he named this meditation, know me meditation. He said, know me meditation is not enough. Know me means, in the Buddha's teaching, is anatta, non-self. Okay? So I realized that I am not practicing that. That means I am not reading the books enough, which teaches that. And he told that you have a book with you, that if you read that book, all your, it will become clear. Your brain will open up. It will become all clear. I have a book, this Samyutta Nikaya, that is, Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation, which has been going with me to the cave and everywhere. My luggage is mostly I think, this gentleman is there? No, who brought me here? I don't see him. Huh? He dropped me and he's not there. Maybe, okay. So actually that bag was very heavy. I felt so sorry, I carried it. I don't like to carry it also, because it's like these monkeys must be bringing gold and everything. So it's all Samyutta Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, these big books. And I'm so anti, and these new gadgets. Some have told me to have this tab or something, I am so old fashioned, like I want to be, I'm a stylish monk. I don't want to look. So this book, he don't know what this book, but he can see, because these people, they have not developed that wisdom eye, but they have that divine eye. They could know the pimpao, the positive energy karmas you have done and the negative karmas. There's many stories for me to talk about that, but it's no time now. I had to just quickly glance through these main things. So this part, they knew that I have also practiced this type of meditation of self-realization. So that's why then he told me this is the highest meditation. He encouraged me and he told me, when you do this, we will have to look for you. Like that, he last encouraged me to go and do. So later I went to Sri Lanka, forced myself, because these things I did very much when I was young. From age of 18 to until I became a monk, I was very much reading the sutra, Buddha's original word, and not just reading like a knowledge. I knew how to do it as a meditation object. Practically apply that. This was there in me. Not I had an idea. And then later when I became a monk, I had to live a very tough life, like face the elements, and we liked the ascetic way, and like the rain and the sun and in the forest. So then, and walk for miles. And there I used the samadhi, concentration power. Slowly I got addicted to concentration power more and more. It's a kind of a yogic concentration power, tell you, I think maybe I practiced in the past. And there this analyzing contemplation went down. But it came automatically. There was as a daily practice, but in a minute way. And it came when I was faced with a crisis, like a near-death experience, or somebody shouting, or something, like a hot sun or something. I can't concentrate, sound. Then I went to analyzing and vipassana like that. Okay? So then when he knew it has gone down, I always thought I must read again and practice. So it went tomorrow. Still is not fully done. Still trying now while I'm doing this. So he told me, then I started forcefully reading this Kanda Vagga, Samyutta Nikaya, that Buddha's original words of regarding no self. So when I started reading, when I met him, came and met him again, 80% this has arisen. I was so inspired just reading the book. Now I know, some people have cured cancer by chanting the, original words. Pirit we call it, So I know one lady, she came and served dana to us. And when we were going arms round, and she had cancer, they give only 7 days to live for her. And then later she came, the doctors asked, what did you eat? What medicine did you take? She said, I didn't do anything. I did the same things, but I thought I'm going to die. So I started reciting Pirit or chanting. And that's all she did. So I can now understand what would have happened. So just imagine those very words, if you try to know the meaning, that's what we do, and make it a meditation object or guidance for our concentration. Not only concentration, analyzing and contemplation. So I just read fast this book. I went to the jungle in Sri Lanka and quickly I read 80%. Then I came back to Sri Lanka, went to another forest and read another section, 120%. That gave me a lot of inspiration, not last year, previous year. And I came and started the retreats and all this training. And now that's why I'm telling, I'm very happy. This book is like an introduction from the suttas, because you have sutta is like a big collection. It's like a handbook for you if you ever going to go to the original words of the Buddha. And there are main meditation concepts also here. Okay, this can be, you might read it after a few years, and if you see another clearer vision. They are like, it will change your clarity, your sort of intuition might change after a few hours, few years, like that. Because more your mind becomes settled or purer, your ability to get a vision from that will be different. So you just do a small, some people have, critics are there. Doesn't matter, they have, because I just feel like telling, some have told that I'm getting information from, the Hindu yogis, and I'm getting their guidance. No, I'm only trying to emphasize the importance of the suttas, from another angle of experience. Maybe their wife is too attached to me, following all these videos. That's why they're so upset with me. It's a possibility. But I found they're upset with all this new, some of the good things that are, otherwise they all want to sleep. You want the sasana to, like sleep and wait. No real. One thing I notice is that majority of these established things, institutions of the sasana, which is going on, underlying there is like, it's not possible to attain Nibbana now. This is going on in the back of the head. Is it not really a great sin to, if you are not attained, it's okay. Why you promote that? I don't think it's a nice thing to tell you're stuck in samsara and maybe we have to do some pina, and I think you have more than enough pina or merits. You have food, you have shelter, you have good health. What else do you need? And you have access to these books, the original words. There are times, old time, where there were no Buddha. That Bodhisattva, our Buddha to be, he went searching for a word of the Buddha. And then he was prepared to jump to a demon who had some words from a previous Buddha. Dhamma, I don't know whether you have heard this story of the Buddhas. So in that story, just imagine now how many words you have, and especially if your English is okay, you have a greater chance of the language barrier of the translations. You can, but one thing, if you must learn it to make it a meditation object, and that I hope we can do just a small part quickly, right? Because I don't want you to miss anything. Meeting me, though you're young. Okay, 10th page number 10. When you read the suttas, if you want to make it a meditation, you must learn to sit comfortably, relaxingly. Okay? And you must look at yourself from outside. That's very important. You don't read this kind of books like, uncomfortable way. You must be comfortably seated. You must even in maybe your bed, all right? But not in a sleeping a posture where you're going to fall asleep. Alert, but comfortably. Where you're not, leg pain here, body pain there, not like that. You must be really comfortable. And look at yourself from outside. Imagine yourself seated or holding the book. Okay? Like that you should start whenever you are reading these things, because you are now getting ready to apply to you. All right? That's why they are called meditation object. So the page number 10, Buddha breaks down a body in those days into 4 elements. Okay? Not in terms of electrons and protons. He makes these 4 elements like with the nature. Okay, so like the hard nature, he's taking, the body has things with hardness. So he put that into what you call like earth element, like that. Watery nature as the watery nature. So it's given, the 4 elements are given. Heat is taken as separate, and then you have hard nature, fluid nature, heat, temperature is measured, and water in air in nature. Okay? 4. Apo tejo vayo patavi, like that. So this we are now here is going. These are the very words of the Buddha. He's going how to analyze this. What now is the solid element? Okay? Solid element may be one's own or it may be external. And what is one's own solid element? Whatever in one's own person or body there exists of karmically acquired hardness. Now this every word in Buddha, it's not this hard nature, or our body does not come in the sky, from the sky. I mean, it actually falls from out of the sky. It's actually karmically made. For us to give that feeling, to give us pleasant, unpleasant feeling, we need a body. Okay, so the body is formed based on what karma you did. Now I told you that lady had a beautiful hand. How? Because the karma, because she was having so much faith in that thing. So he got and that helped her to live, to go, to make a living also. All right. So exists karmically acquired hardness, firmness, such as the hairs of the head, hairs of body, nails. You must visualize this. This is where the meditation comes. Teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, marrow, kidney. You must picture it. Heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, stomach, bowels, mesentery, excrement, and so on. This is called one's own solid element. Now, this kind of thing you can't practice if you have too much desires. If you have a lot of greediness, if you want to enjoy a party today, you want to go bash. If you have so much interest, if those kinds, will be madness. I want to enjoy if a person wants to let go, want to enjoy mental peace, want to get peace, lightness in mind, coolness in mind, this is good. Okay? Someone want to be, they call it enjoyment, that excitement, then this is terrible, They are not in this hall also, for sure. So now when you apply this, you also must apply with the idea of letting go your body. Okay? Letting go your body means unconsciously you're holding the body. When you're reading this and applying, visualizing, you will immediately feel a lightness coming to you. You will not feel tired out of that. Okay? That's the sign that you are applying and doing it in the right direction. Kidneys, heart, liver, diaphragm, spleen, lungs, stomach, bowels, mesentery, excrement, and so on. This is called one's own solid element. When you are reading this, you must let an outward breath, you must relax. And with your imagination and of these words, that relaxation should increase more. Whether it be one's own solid element or whether it be the external solid element, they are both merely the solid element. Now, this is a very important point, where you think the hard nature here and the hardness of the mic here or the table here is same. Okay? To look at that in the mind, it is a special wisdom. Just because it's here, we call it ours. But when it is outside, something like that, we don't get that idea of ours. Okay? So, and one should understand according to reality and true wisdom, this does not belong to me, this am I not, this is not myself. Okay? So, other one is the fluid element. Mainly, you know, the blood in the body. Okay? And the water in the tap. They have the same watery nature. Okay? So, do you think there's a difference in the wateriness or fluidness in your blood and the water? Do you think there's difference? What do you think? You must learn to mentally think about it. So now, for example, think of urine. When it's in your bladder, you know, now inside you think, this is my urine, okay? When it goes to the toilet and mingles with the water, do you get the idea, this is mine? Do you? So this way, when you do like that, what happens? You can empty you. You can take away mentally, you can dissect. You can take the hard part out, the liquid part out. When you do like that, this happens to you. And one should understand according to reality and true wisdom, this does not belong to me, this am I not, this is not myself. Okay? Just a small sample for you. I'm not going to go through, yes? Mentally, yeah, mentally. That's a very good point. Okay? It's not easy. Because easy to dissect the body like that and then also to feel this is not my body. Did you everybody understand this? Hear this, what he said? Do you have a mic? No? I know he's a shy kind of person, but a good question. He told me that he told me that he can easy to dissect the parts like that. He understood what he meant by hard nature. You take out the soft, then you become empty, right? So he's asking now that you can know as not my body, but he's asking, is it possible for you to know the mind as not?
To detach from the mind.
And to get the idea mind is not me, right?
Yeah.
It's the main thing. Yeah. Yes, they are very advanced, huh? But how? Yep, that's a very good question. This is how the Buddha answers that very, very directly. How to know that? He also tells it's difficult to know the mind as not you. It's easy to know the body as not you. Can the mind or consciousness arise without a body? Can it? Can you get a mind or consciousness, that's just now we talked a lot about it, without a body? Like in the free air or in a robot, can you get a consciousness? If you make like that, Elon Musk, right? If he makes like that, maybe I will disrobe and come, Big problem to me. I don't think. But anyway, do you think you can have it without the body? Just think, really. Even they don't, now in the present time, still consciousness is not understood. Whether there is such a thing separate really from the body. It's not understood. Leave alone making a consciousness. Okay? So it cannot arise without a body, right? That's clear. So if the body is not you, then that way you come to this thing, then the consciousness also have not you. Because if the body is not you, what depends, if the consciousness which depends on what is not you, can it be you? And that way, there's a way of wisdom to know that consciousness not you. But not directly, you can't know.
Then what is you?
Sorry, you.
What is you?
You is an idea only. Okay? Idea only. It does not exist really. So, in perfect knowing, realizing that you dissolves completely. Because you begin to realize you are a illusion. We'll read another one more sutta. Explain this, okay? Very good.
Thank you, Sadhu.
Very good, very good. I'm very happy. How old are you?
15.
It's dangerous. Where's your parents? Yeah. So sorry, yeah, he might go on my track. No, you don't have to do like this. I only wish you to become enlightened. Make sure you get your parents' blessings for all that. And page number 43. Okay, last we just cover this and we are going to end program. We are going beyond time. 43. I know, I'm sure there are a lot of, I think you all are very special brainy people, wisdom wise, not, I don't think, 43 page, views and discussions about the self. Okay. Now, if someone should say that feeling is his self, he should be answered thus. There are three kinds of feeling. Now, you know, in consciousness, the main thing of consciousness is feeling. Okay. Factor. So normally we get the idea of self to the feeling. Okay, I initially explained that. So normally we get three kinds of feelings, right? There are three kinds of feeling: pleasurable, painful, and indifferent feeling. Which of these three kinds of feelings do you consider as yourself? Because at the moment of experiencing one of these feelings, one does not experience the other two. Is it correct? Okay. These three kinds of feelings are impermanent, of dependent origin, are subject to decay and dissolution, to fading away and extinction. Whoever in experiencing one of these feelings thinks that this is his self must, after the extinction of that feeling, admit that his self has become dissolved. And thus he will consider his self already in this present life as impermanent, mixed up with pleasure and pain, subject to rising and passing away. If anyone should, so you get that? So it cannot be so. No? If it's you, it should not change. Can't be changing from one to the other. So when you're observing like that, you don't get the idea of me. So you normally see the cause and effects of an experience. Then the idea of me, that is wisdom, there you will not get the idea of me. That means you can't get it because you see really what's happening. If anyone should say that the feeling is not his self, and that his self is inaccessible to feeling, he should be asked thus: now where there is no feeling, is it then possible to say, this am I? So someone might say, no, feeling is changing thing. It's not yours. Then if he says, then I am not the feeling, I am something other than the feeling. If someone says like that, for argument's sake, then you can argue back, when there's no feeling whatsoever, do you get the idea of I? It can't happen. I gave an example of your leg getting numb. And when the leg gets numb, and if you don't see from your eyes, you will think, Mage kakula tiyanawado. That is a small example in a gross way. Okay? So, or another way, feeling indeed is not myself, but it is also untrue that myself is inaccessible to feeling, for it is myself that feels, myself that has the faculty of feeling. Such a one should be answered thus: suppose that feeling should become altogether totally extinguished. Now if after the extinction of feeling, no feeling whatsoever exists there, is it then possible to say, this am I? Also the same idea, where there's no feeling whatsoever, you can't say. I have many experiences to talk about the Hindu yogis, how they attach to, you get an idea of me to, that means there's some feeling, that means the dhyana, how it is taken as samadhi, concentration, experience is taken as attachment and taken as me. So it will be long to explain all these things, but you have the greatest wisdom, Buddha. Because I'm trying in your normal meditation, you'd have normally learned just to be more calm and mindful and so on. So I believe you will not get a deep experience, because to experience Nibbana according to my idea, our experience, you have to think more, but with a purer mind. You have to make the mind pure and settled, and then expose yourself to this analyzing contemplation. If these two go together, you will attain it, definitely. I hope elders and younger people who really want to, and I tell younger people, prepare your system, your body, your mind to achieve something in life. So one thing, discipline. Be careful with the phones and where you drain your energies. Okay, and try to make daily meditation where you start early morning, compassion, little this thing, and see where you're breaking. And if you're very busy, and try to keep the 5 precepts, especially not lying, and to have kindness when you speak, do something. These two, if you can practice in the modern time, and younger people from 14 onwards, you can look at all these no fap and all that. They will give you some hope and dopamine detox. You can go through in YouTube itself. You will understand the damage of YouTube. You get some points from there. That means dopamine. So you'll know to curtail at least, or discipline for your studies, and parents also try to advise them, and enlighten yourself and go on the path so that you can do your duty, not feeling upset or worry, but you also have strong character to, do your duty, not to be frightened by your children because of your love and all that. Wish you good luck. Anything you all want to ask? We are ending 7. Wait, last minute, don't go, right? Because go and come here.
So you were talking about there's 3 types of feelings, right? So the
Pleasant,
painful, and indifferent. So what's difference between indifferent feeling and no feeling at all?
No feeling is a relative no feeling. What do you mean? Like when you get numb or anesthesia, or what kind of no feeling?
Like, because it's like the point to like eradicate like the feeling.
No feeling really happens where you are having wisdom. You're talking about the highest in a way. That will happen only when you have highest wisdom. With that, you will have highest detachment. Okay? So I tell these books normally how you get this. When you're contemplating like that, you can have a kind of an intuitive experience where you get a shocking experience. Like even a ghost or a deva or something you have not normally experienced. When you experience, you feel a shock. Okay? Same way, the insights could happen where it is like a shocking. So it's a word given in Pali is called nibbindati. Nibbindati means disenchanted. It's very difficult in English to translate. So that's like a shocking, like you're holding a string and then suddenly you notice a snake. There's no question of letting go. So when that happens, there you have what you're thinking about is a no feeling. That's the only place you are transcending feeling. You're filled with wisdom.
So what is like the indifferent feeling? Like
normally you have worldly indifferent feeling and spiritual indifferent feeling. The worldly indifferent feeling is like you're in a bored state, for example. Okay, you are like neither happy nor sad, but you are just like waiting. Then you have indifferent feeling when you get samadhi. That is with that's called equanimity. Is a nice word in English, where you are seeing things in from a distance, because your desires are subdued. You have that peacefulness, and you're not like highly elated, nor you are the thing, but you are very happily peaceful. So that's a more neutral spiritual feeling.
Thank you, Bhante.
I know some of you all want to ask, but you all are shy and you have very good questions. But don't worry, I feel you all are you know a lot of things. Don't worry. Anyone else? From this corner? I hope I didn't. It doesn't matter, this is not a class. If you have understood, don't worry. there? This young boy there? No? No, the small one. Huh? No, not the, just in front. No? Oh, yeah. It's very interesting because I just I lifted my hand just right. I don't know why you all are coming to me. Right? Anybody else? From the back seat or all of you became arahants already or what happened? The elderly lady over there, you want to ask something? No? You also like those kids, just lift your hand and maybe yes, maybe no. Okay. Lot to digest, right? At least these points overcome your addictions and then, start a daily routine. This I would encourage you all, this in summary, I think that's very important. Try to control the phone and daily routine and get a taste of meditation with, not just for the name. Then you will get hooked up with that. Okay, you wash your face, brush your teeth. You never miss that. Same way you should not miss. I really find different here, the Perth the group seem to be very different, Not a small group, but they seem to be more disciplined or I don't know what, or interested in the Dhamma or they have been exposed to Dhamma. I'm feeling this. This young man. Anything you want to ask? Who is that? Your sister or mother or who? I can't see. Yeah. Any? Yes, yes.
How about we using the same phone for the like a Buddha's teaching? Is same thing happen or what?
Google, you mean the smartphone?
Yeah, yeah.
The smartphone.
Because in the nowadays, in the YouTubes, we can watch a lot of dharma sakacha or something.
Yeah.
But in the same thing happening in the negative, plates open or what happening for that ones?
The problem is, according to my awareness, now Dhamma, in the blue screen and now you see, for example, you might like to listen to my bana in the YouTube than meeting like this. I don't know. It could happen because sometimes the YouTube, it is also made the presentation where more dopamine is, secreted in the brain. Okay. So more the dopamine rush, we feel addicted and attracted. So it's well known that even the normal YouTube, programs or whatever that goes on, it happens. But there are people who can't read books, like old people sometimes, like I see my parents and some people. I think if you can't read a book, that's good, at least that. But if you can read the book, your concentration level begins to work. So some of the damaged cells, by using the screen and all that, they begin to repair. And then you will get that proper concentration power to attain margapala, path and fruit. So are we going to get only just knowledge from the Dhamma, or are we going to really raise our consciousness where? So there I think we have to discipline slowly, so that we are going to be very sure our brain is going to prepare to become enlightened. So for work and all that, I think you'll have to use the phone. So I know sometimes better than the smartphone, what is that other simple phone where you can take calls or something, that you can try to use. That without the smartphone, I don't know, you have to find some way. And if you really want to go deeper into or make yourself strong to face old age and death, and you'll have to control those things slowly. And negative things, there are other things like not only the smartphone, the YouTube, things that you listen and hear. And if you have some weakness in your karma, with something connected with raga or dvesha, and you might easily expose so much, because you will. Now I know some people, they some two things, they go either to violence or they go to other things I can't also tell. Some have come and told me also, even in this, that they're addicted to pee. I hope you will interpret what it is, and they just don't know how to control it and so on. So I can see that they have activated so much of that negative energy also to them. It's a common problem. And then I gave them some tools. Don't worry. I told them not to worry. And, like how 3 days, how to allow the body to repair, and brain to repair, and then how to control the senses. That's how it starts, like don't give a small even loophole. So, and also to get a very striking object of repulsiveness, maybe the smell of something, of the bodies or like that, give him some techniques how to do that. And I've told this before in the last programs. These are like old people who have come and met me. But this is the time they came and confessed to me and asked some way how to. So this weakness, if it is there, it can, easily be. So that is very important, very careful. I have other experience about spirits talking about, how they have entered the body through Facebook. These children, sometimes they have gone to depression states and like that. And then there was one person who was able to bring the spirits out who are hiding. And like children who have become stubborn and, not listen to parents. And then this boy was not speaking, another spirit was speaking. And the spirit was telling, I entered the body when he was playing games, one boy. Another one through Facebook. And then he has been controlling that, so I used to tell. Now this time Bana I didn't tell, there's so much to tell. So those days I used to tell that, just to give an idea. Sorry, I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you. So my question is now about the ill effects of this blue screen. If we listen to your banner from the phone without watching, then will it make a difference?
That will make a difference, big difference, I think. But it's still better, I think, exercising your eyes to read than hearing. If you can see, I have told some people even use a magnifying glass and even read. Some old people who have because sometimes I notice in my retreats, I feel some fight with the karma is happening, and then they get all the underlying difficulties start to come out in exaggerated way. So then I have encouraged them somehow to just read with even tears in your eyes or whatever. But definitely it's better than the screen, I would say. That type of discipline, it will make an effect, I think.
But one advantage we see is because we drive to work every morning, so sometimes we listen to Swamin Wahanse's banner. So my wife put it,
yes, it's
take
good.
it on the YouTube, but we can't watch it,
right.
because we are driving.
Yeah.
So then we use that time to listen to banner,
it's
rather
good.
than wasting it
It's
on the road.
It's good. But I have told, if anyone listening to my banner,
Yes.
who is that? Okay. But my banner. My banner had told you to go to the original words, not to listen to YouTube. It's really true. I hope you got the messages, when. But anyway, if it inspires you somewhere, use it. Doesn't matter. But I wish. But I hope you get the point before you get older or die. I hope you get good hold of it. Now even my father passed away recently, and I couldn't give him. He's not a good reader also, and I couldn't put him to the retreats also. He was too old. But I gave him some things. I think that's good enough. But I really wish for you that keep the books beside your bed and start doing that. Do the metta anapanasati, and I don't think you'll miss anything. You will really be fulfilling your human birth. Even as a Serpentine, they are telling me, the senior monks there, you have a fan base or something to see. The YouTube, I was against this, actually, because what happened was, I have this way of, with the rishis, having some They are the ones who told if you want to give it to the people, modern day people, they are all with the phones. Then you will have to allow that. So that's how it started, and I think it has been quite help, it has gone all over. Any question? I'm going to stop now. Okay. Another one question. Tomorrow I'm coming. I think it's getting super late. The mic quickly. Let him ask. One last question, this young boy want to, and I'm going to finish now. Okay.
Can I ask about the self again?
Yes?
Can I ask about the self again?
Yes?
So if there's no self, what gets reborn in the next life and the next life and after that?
Okay. Just now I explained about the conditioned nature of consciousness. Okay? That it needs an object and then it arises. All right? So even now we have moments where consciousness arises and another consciousness arises. But it happens so fast. There's no, like I have looked at you, and when I look like this, just for example, more faster even now, just mini, it has, died and, new consciousness. There's no equivalent speed to give the change of consciousness to one to the other. So this is, now when rebirth is happening, that's where the link, the secret, the last moment the thought comes, and that has a condition for consciousness. And when there's consciousness, there's name and form. So simultaneously there, it could be a mother's womb, the name and form. Or a Brahmaloka, name and form. Sorry? When this consciousness is diminishing, the last consciousness, new consciousness has already taken place. Okay? There's no break of consciousness. All right? When one dies, another rises. Because the conditions are there. That's what I told you, like my teacher explained to me, it was deep. How the rebirth is stopped is where the conditions are not given. Conditions are given by karma and craving, where you feel distracted. So when these two are absent, you don't have a last thought coming. That is due to karma comes the last thought. So, and then you have the last breath going, you have no craving, you can keep the attention to the last breath. So there, it's a very deep point where the link is broken. No conditions, no rising, no passing away. So,
Thank you, Swami Maharaj.
But you have to keep this. Don't expect, for you to like immediately, but at least this much you must understand. This will not come in understanding form. If someone is very anxious to get more understanding, they will ruin this explanation. They will go to more other, I don't want to say Abhidhamma or other many things which explains this and that too much, but it will block your realization. But this thing, and if you go to the original teachings slowly and have patience to meditate also, you will, like the olden time, you will know the main links. What the Buddha wanted you to experience, you might experience. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. The back, all of you are. All right. So all blessings to all of you. I hope this, whatever was said and this thing will help you on this path. Especially, I hope make it a daily routine and make sure you find out what is your weaknesses and so just focus on one by one. Okay, if you know, you can tell this, I'm addicted to this. Let me try 3 days this. At least you must recognize what is blocking you to Nibbana. All right. I never forget Somahandru is those days telling that his purpose also is to remove the obstacles to Nibbana. I mean, I'm sure we are doing more strongly towards that, removing obstacles. He didn't teach so, I mean, from the sutras, he gave some idea to observe 5 precepts and all that. But here, how to make it a kamatahan or meditation object, and as the same as time of the Buddha, if you want to attain the same way, using the Buddha's very instruction, not any monk's teaching, how to do it. That's how we were taught, and That's how many of the Western monks practice. But actually, what has happened recently is that people have gone more to the techniques, from Burma and all that. So they have taken something from the sutta, but not allowing the sutta's effect to happen as it is. So all over Sri Lanka too, we have actually like going 10-day retreats and all that. They're okay. They're all technique based. Okay, so I'm not telling now someone told that something, no, they have done a great good. But I'm telling you, please try what the Buddha said also, directly. Not getting any interpretation from somebody, get it directly. But don't take it as a knowledge also. Try to, this like the 4 elements and all that. All right? I used to practice that, like apply it to myself, and I had an auntie who used to get angry. Okay? So I was left behind in Sri Lanka. She used to give me the pocket money and all that. It's not her money, it was some rent from a house of my father. She used to give it to me. So I cut short, okay? One day she shouted at me, what happened was I was stubborn. So this was my first encounter with her. So she went, shout at me. So immediately I focused that these are elements, okay? And this idea that this consciousness is also not mine because the body is not mine, and they are just feelings, perceptions are like, they're not very real. So while she was shouting, I was thinking about this. And then she saw that I didn't react at all. So this was the first and the last time she scolded me. Okay? So like this, you have to learn to apply. Remember that. So I have seen some wives, they have told me how the husband is shouting. And now they have applied this. So, okay, so that's the best way. So slowly you must try to apply, maybe in the traffic blocks and, shouting at people, they are false. Getting angry is more faulty than, the people doing fault around you. Okay. So simple things. Try to keep the calm, feel the touch of all this you must practice. Then you will begin to get that peaceful zone in your mind. And when you get the experience of that, you will not let go of that. 2 types of happiness, just to enjoy for a small moment a sense experience. Other one is letting go the sense and experiencing that. So these 2 feelings. The other feeling is healthy and nourishing your wisdom. The other feeling is just for that moment, addictive and damaging your wisdom. According to the Buddha. So good luck. All blessings to all of you. May you all get all the strength. Staying so long, I think, what time did we start? 6:45? My God, more than 3 hours. Oh God, that's been a longest program. All right. So there's something else I want to tell tonight. I will do something just now, but make sure you don't talk after that. Okay? Until tomorrow morning. Take your dinner, all right? Some energy, you keep it. It will help you keep it until tomorrow morning. If you talk, it will go away from you. Okay, so use these things, giving you something. Try to keep, I don't know, not easy, try to keep silent. And take your dinner, all right? And tomorrow morning talk, all right? When you get up, so that in the whole night you will have some more blessings coming to you, right? So I'm very happy to be here. Wish you all good luck on the path, and may you all get the strength and inspiration, especially that this time you can do this practice. You must get that encouragement. I hope you can get the books, keep beside you. Start reading slowly. It is a magic book as far as I know. Magic in the sense that it will clear your karma, and because Buddha is the master of that. So make use of it. Whether you take degrees or study anything, don't waste time not getting this. Okay. And daily try to slowly bring, not easy, I know the environment is so terrible, too much, materialistic environment. But if you have the habit from previous lives, I believe, like what happened to us, you will definitely grow. You will take the best out of the West, and you will take the best out of Sri Lanka. Not in a traditional form. Yet the teachings are so valuable. about consciousness, about life, and how to control your mind, and how to experience some extraordinary, healthy feelings of purity, peace, and happiness. So I wish you all the strength. I see some of you all also little difficulties are going on. Hope they will be resolved, especially some strength will come to you all. I have told, some unsolvable problems. I don't know whether you all know about it regarding the Bodhi tree, how to do something. I have no time. Try to find the clip in the video where unsolvable problems are there, whether it is some disease or emotional. I have given some ways to tap the energy, cosmic energy, and Buddha's this thing. Try to find out that. All right? Deva, see dukak. Therapy matuetva. Dharme shakti shanti. Sil denatam labe. Sikasuyat, shantiyat, all this merit. Think of your parents, your relations. All beings, let them get a share of these merits. Ataravaram devarunta, sakra devendata, king of gods, sahampati brahmari virajanva. Ishivaru munuvaru siddallata, gandharvarunta, bhairunta. Naga naginta, naga rajurunta. Siru divya rajavarunta, brahmavarunta. Ne punya shakti anumodang vetva. Evagam deva senadipati varunta. Ne buddha sasane, pratipatti sasane, prativeda sasane. Shaka. Siru tistum kotya kalpe shakya shakya. Samyak dishtika devata. Me bhoma dura palatakuna. Me uttama minsu me jatiya visheshama sasane araksha karana. Manusya kottashayata dhairya shakti. Manta labila. Satarapaya novatena. No, actually Sri Lanka and India, there are like lands of where to clear your karma. There have been lands where have been sacred by those holy people, holy beings, saints, who trod on this path searching for self-realization, realizing it. So they were masters actually. So even those days I was very reluctant to come to the West, asking why should we come? If we come, we should come to teach the West. This is how I, as a young boy. And I remember one Pakistani boy in the university was asking, he was always trying to imitate all the Western things. He was telling the West, they went to space, they went to this moon and all that he used to tell me. Then I said, can't you remember many years back, people in your country, they went to further than the moon and all that. He was asking, who are they? I said, your prophets. You were surprised, yes, it happened. Putala yanawada pute? Just 1 minute. Podak israt ende? Ende pute. Andru දැන් ඉවර වෙනවා. පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න. අන්තිම මොහොතේ යන්න එපා. ඔම හිට ගන්න, රිලැක්ස් කරන්න. ඔම හිට ගන්න. එතකොට මම ටක් ගාලා ඉවර කරනවා. So සියලු දේවතාන් වහන්සේට රිලැක්ස් කරන්න බොඩි එක. රිලැක්ස් your body, okay? දේවතාන් වහන්සේට බ්‍රහ්මවරුන්ට මේ පුණ්‍ය ශක්තිය අනුමෝදන් වෙත්වා. මේ ඉන්න සියලු ප්‍රදේශයේ වුණා. ඒ සියලු මනුෂ්‍යයන්ට and offer this merit to all the people in this country too. So they offer another thing. They are also human beings. May they get these blessings of the Samma Sambuddha, the teachings. By your example, may they get, they're also family of ours, many lives, and all the human beings in the whole planet. May they get the strength, inspiration, the Samma Sambuddha's teaching, and infinite compassion of the Buddha. May that blessing, Sambuddhun Vahasake Buddhu Karunave, Ashirvade, Silu Manushyantam Labetva. Unvahasake Detis Mahapurusha Lakshanul Ananta, Perum Purana Avadiye Vecce Maha Mahime, Uttama Parami Bale, Rakavarane Me Silu Satya, Silu Denatam Labe. Vadakvat Dukata Patnu, Satuting Satut. So, Podak Misara Dua, Hitaganda Plan, you stand up, the front, yeah? No, this one. Me duat Podak Hitaganda Plan the Pute? No, that. Me do. No, the one in front. Just relax your body, right? Relax your body. Sansara perapinat. Relax your body. Anyone having any specific problem that they want me to pray for specially? They have a unbearable some difficulty, which I do the same, but all of you all must be having something or the other, don't worry. Can you put that? Just a minute, right? Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. 1 minute, wait. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. They're your children. Push it. Sit down. Sit down. Feel both. Try to not to talk tonight, okay? You can eat something and can talk. Okay.
කඩගාලෙන් සක්වලටම කිරණ විදා දිවමන් බොදොන් සේ වැඩහිඳ අසිරි බෙදා පිංසිත වඩන සැදැහැති සිත ඉවත නොදා දලදා සමිදු නාමදීමි බැති සිතින් සදා ලකගන සිරස පැලඳු සිලුමිනක් ලෙසේ තවරාඳුන්
Close your eyes for 5 minutes.
නුවන් නැසේ සත්සිද්නි බාඳ සත පාලන නිවන් රසේ දලදා සමිද නාමදීමි බැති සිතින් මෙසේ සිතාලොවට සුදු බුදුරැස් කිරණ එදා ලෞතුරු පියා මහා කරුණා ගුණය
Just 5 minutes, wait from right now, right?
දම් දෙසු විට දිසාවු සත දුග තියෙන් මුදා වැඩ සිටිසේක බුදු මුවදාල දාසමිදා බරදන්ත කුමරුන් රැකවරණ කොට කුමරිය හේම මාලාවන් බැතිනී සිට සංගවාගෙනා කෙස් කාලඹෙයි ලක්දිවට වඳිනෙමු බැතින් අපි දාලදා සමිදුහට පරසතු මදාරා කුසුමන් නෙලාගෙන දෙවිවරු පැමිණ නිබාදව බැඳ පුදාලන දලදා සමිඳුනේ මගේ හිස නවාගෙන වඳිනෙමිනි බාද අමනිවනම පතාගෙන රැස් කඳ විහිදුවාලන බඹ ලොවට උසින් සැදැහැති දානං නීති පුදනා සතර දෙසින් බුදුහිමි දුටුව විලසින් දිව මන්ව ඇසින් දලදා සමිදු නාමදින් නෙමි මෙමා විසින් සුරගඟ නැගී පෙළහර පෑ අසිරි මැවේ දුටුවොත් වරක් ඇවිලෙන සිත් සතන් නිවේ තුන්ලෝ සතට ගෙන එන නීති නිමල සුවේ දලදා සමිඳු හැර සාරණක් අපට නොවේ සිතුමින විලස සෙංකඩ ගාල අහස යට ලතැවුල් පිසින ඇවිලෙන සිත් නිවාසිට වඩන සසරේ පාවු බැහැර කොට දලදා සාමිදු සරණයි නීති ඔබ සැමට දලදා සාමිදු සරණයි නීති ඔබ සැමට
පොඩි සංග්‍රහයක් තියෙනවා ඒක අරගෙන ගෙදර යන්න.